We're here, everybody. The guests have arrived. I will say good evening to everybody. Big show tonight. I can't believe when I started doing this just after Christmas. Just streaming just for a little bit of therapy. What can I say? 100 streams later, and we're still doing it. So. All I can say is thanks to everybody who's stuck with us. We've had some laughs, we've had some highs, we've had some lows, but generally all good fun. So the guests have arrived, so I'll introduce them one by one for once instead of just doing a mass dump, as it were. First is the Mega Geek. Hello, Ian.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm not bad. Are you?
I'm all right. As I said to you before, I'm stuffing my face with Chinese. So.
Oh, very good. We had 2 viewers, and then I said something, and they disappeared. So it's going to be one of those nights.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
But who cares? We're here to have some fun. Hopefully, the regulars will turn up. I'm sure they will. We're up against another channel, but you know what? We're here to have fun. Saturday night, virtual pub. Usual bollocks. So, So all good, yes?
Yeah, good. Very good.
Super duper. Next is Swap Shop.
Good, you caught me off guard.
Hello, mate. You're right.
Oh, I'm all flustered. Yes, I'm very well. Thank you very much.
Are you? You're not decorating today, are you?
Got the decorators in, and the decorators are me. I've been busy doing the hallway and the landing and the passage. I'm always
passage.
Good. I'm always good doing the passage.
What, the back one?
Yeah. Well, no. It's just the passage, really. But the only available passage that needs a good going over.
Whitewashing.
Yeah. Oh, steady. No,
one of those nights.
I've been up in the annals, mate.
I beg your pardon.
Yeah. Well. You should see the state of my hands. That's all I'm saying.
Oh dear.
Moving on. Matt Potts is here.
White stuff.
Indeed. Matt Potts is here.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am not bad. I do thank you for awaking early.
I've been up since 5:30 a.m. So. It's currently 6. Sorry?
You've been up at Dawn's Crack? Is that the girl that you went on a date with?
Oh, let's not go there. Her name's not Dawn.
It's Beryl.
Crack, though, yeah?
Ah, jeez. Are you having a go at Australian women? Because I tell you what, they'll get back at you.
Yes,
That's what you need. That's what you need.
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to think. They all don't look like Elle Macpherson, by the way.
Australian women are wasted on you, mate.
Well, all right then. But at least, if I go out with a British girl, they've got really bad teeth. So
that's a myth, by the way. You know that, don't you?
Made up by the Americans.
No, actually, no, it is true. Because in the 60s, on TV, actors did have bad teeth.
Speaking of Americans,
do you guys have calcium in your water?
I don't know.
And
fluoride.
Yeah.
Fluoride.
They do fluoride in there. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Okay.
Speaking of Americans, our number one American, the man. Hello, Commander.
Hello, Mr. Brown. How are you this fine day?
I am not bad, my friend. Early for you, is it?
It's a little early, yes. The sun rises over the fortress, but it presents a beautiful image, so I'm glad to be here to share it with y'all.
It's daylight, yes?
Yes, just barely.
Right.
Yo.
For some reason, I don't know why I chose 9 p.m. to stream, because normally the last couple of weeks... I think it was to do with... We were trying to get a guest on from America, but
we did,
but he's basically it's Robert Myatt Burnett. He's doing his members live stream today, so once I'd realised that he couldn't do it, and I'd kind of realised that the time was a bit early, it was too late. So I do apologise.
You promised me Gina Carano.
We got turned down, mate.
I know. It's just not on. At least she turned you down. She didn't even talk to me.
She's all she's bothered about is sober 3PO.
Ugh. Yeah, because he's such a hunk.
He's a rider hunk, anyway.
He is. Just before we came on, Swap Shop sent me a tweet link with toilets. Where was the toilets?
I can't remember now. Let me go back and have a look. What was it?
It was one of these.
Oh yeah. It was something posted by that Star Wars girl on Twitter.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like
Star Wars girl.
a multi-gender toilet symbol. Yeah.
Oh God.
Gender inclusive. That was it. Yeah.
What does it actually mean then?
Basically, it means if you've got 2 arms and 2 legs and a head, then you get to use that facility. And probably if you haven't as well.
My sister just telling me about Melbourne. She
Are they
flew over
gender
to the.
inclusive in Melbourne?
Who's this? No, well, that's what I'm saying. My sister, she flew over for the funeral, and she was telling me about about this. They're having 3 toilets now, right? And
What?
on one side is for men, the other side is for women,
And
the
the
one in the middle. The other one, right, is a half man, half woman, straight down the middle.
You're kidding.
Which half? The
No.
back or front?
No, so you know how those images with the people. Well, this one's half man, so it looks like one of those freak show acts that they used to have. You know, remember those?
Yeah.
Where they used to be like a half man, half woman. Yeah, well, that's what they're doing now. That's what they're doing.
It's going to be the cleanest toilet in Melbourne because nobody wants to be seen going in or out of that.
So,
I mean, a lot of people don't know that normal people can use disabled toilets. I don't know if you know that. Does anyone know that?
Does that mean the disabled the disabled can go fuck themselves?
Well,
They probably use the old disabled toilet, sure.
A lot of people don't realise that it's totally legal to go and use a disabled toilet.
I use it all the time.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. I just act like I'm disabled
when
I walk in and walk out.
When the disabled toilet's very useful because when you're nipping one off, as it were, you can hang on to the rails as you're nipping it off.
What for extra purchase?
Snakes, Brown.
So
this is your 100th episode. What is wrong with you?
It reminds me of an episode of the RT Crowd, man.
Ian, it's called humour.
Well, I thought you were
toilet humour.
We believe you, though.
Was that? But yeah, no. I always say to people, use the disabled toilet because it's much cleaner. It's so and Brown's right. You got those things you can hold on to as well. It's quite cool. So it's always cleaner. Always.
Cruel Birab says, "I'd rather go to the worst toilet in Scotland from Trainspotting."
Oh dear. No.
They were bad.
Am I the only one that didn't like Trainspotting?
I've never seen it.
Moving on.
Not like that. Oh, blimey.
No, seriously, because I really didn't like it. But...
You know why? I'll tell you why.
I don't like Obi-Wan Kenobi, so...
Oh, okay.
I bet the Mega Geek has never done anything naughty like at a rave or anything like that. Clean living, I bet.
You'd be surprised,
What do you mean by
Al.
naughty?
You'll be surprised.
What do you mean by naughty? He
Going
goes
out
to
raving, doing all-nighters.
He goes to after-film parties and that. What are you talking about, Brown? Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even going to tell you half the stuff I experienced when I was in LA. Let me tell you.
Stupid. I mean, you'd have like a personal casting couch, wouldn't you?
No, never do that.
The Commander Culture's got one of those.
What?
I'm only kidding.
The personal casting couch.
Well, yes, but it's a casting couch for one because Mrs. Commander is my one and only. So,
well, it's
that's how
better
you
than this.
gotta-
I
Better
don't
than
know if
this
she's
Noel
on the
Clark
streams.
thing at the moment.
What's
Have you
that?
seen that Noel Clark thing?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
Noel
yeah.
Clark thing happening.
The thing is, that if
yeah.
it was just one person saying it, then you would understand. But it's 20, so you got to kind of think maybe he is a bit of a rotten sod. You know what I mean? So there
Yeah,
you go.
well, I mean,
Allegedly.
yeah,
Yeah, allegedly, of course.
yeah.
Let's,
Well, yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah, but when you got 20 people piling on you, there must be
That's
some
called
animosity
well,
there.
yeah, when there's 20 people piling on you, it's called a gangbang.
Do you remember Craig Charles got accused of that? And the girl actually, in court, the girl actually said that she lied. She, so there you go. So she dragged him through she dragged him through all that stuff, and in the end, she confessed that she was lying. So there you go. So girls do it. They do go out their way to, have a go at someone.
Did she get thrown in prison for that?
I don't know how it ended, but my sister was telling me yesterday, because we were talking about Noel Clark, and my sister was telling me, yeah, it happened to Craig Charles, and this girl accused him all kinds of things, and then in the end she broke down and said she was lying in the court.
Wow.
So there you go.
I remember that. Yeah, that was a big controversy back then.
Yeah,
he would have been cancelled if it was right
that's what I'm
now.
saying, yeah.
It wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
with
there
the
you go.
top, wouldn't it? Yeah.
That's crazy, right? That somebody could actually go that far,
Mm.
So there you go.
But the problem is the defendant gets named beforehand. Surely the innocent till proven guilty. But it's jury by media, isn't it?
It is now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Sometimes when I'm directing, I have to be careful. I don't really touch actresses anymore because you can get in all kinds of problems. So in the old days, when I wanted them to move, like just put them in the frame a bit, I touch them in the shoulders and move them a bit. But now I can't even do that.
Wow.
Have you ever heard? I know that you guys are soap opera fans. Have you ever heard it? Do you remember a guy called Craig McLachlan?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw him. Yeah, I saw him act in Greece once, but
he was in Greece, wasn't he?
yeah. But I remember just recently he was cancelled. He played Rocky Horror. Sorry, not Rocky Horror. It'd be Frankenfurter in Rocky Horror Show.
Blimey.
And yeah, well, he did that for years here. Like it was a thing that he did. He was known as the Rocky Horror guy. Frankenfurter guy. So they always went to him.
All right.
But anyway, so when he was doing all his lewd, because Frankenfurter's a pretty fucking lewd person, and so anyway, he was doing all these weird things like getting under the covers and doing some weird stuff to the girls, like apparently touching them inappropriately and all that sort of stuff, while the crowd couldn't really see,
Oh, God.
On stage, Jesus.
Yeah, on stage.
Wow.
And anyway, they confronted him about it, and he told them that he'd ruined their career and all that sort of stuff. And anyway, apparently they didn't become very successful, and so they decided to try and cancel him, which apparently failed dramatically. But there were about 3 or 4 girls that came forward, and there was a huge trial here last year, I believe.
Wow.
And I don't know. I'm amazed that didn't make it over there because he was in a new show. This is how fucked it was, right?
Easy.
He was in a show called Doctor. He played a doctor that was Craig McLachlan. No, Craig McLachlan, right?
Not Doctor Who, then.
No. He played a doctor that was a medical profession, and he solved murders, right? And what they did was they actually because of all these allegations, they literally did this Noel Clarke thing where they cancelled him completely, and they replaced him with the character of his wife in the show. So now it was the Mrs. Such and such. Yeah,
that's happened with the House of Cards as well. Remember?
That's correct.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, it's the exact same thing. Exact
Spacey,
same thing.
gone.
But I think, geez, the actors have no sort of like thinking, well, I shouldn't really take over his part.
Noel Clarke was doing a film. Well, he already shot it. It was a TV series called Viewpoint, and it's the last episode where you find out who did what, because I've never watched it, but they cancelled it. So the people that were following Viewpoint, they'll never get to know the ending because they've cancelled it because he was in it. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Absolutely crazy.
He starred as well.
Yeah, he was in it. He's one of the main people in the show. So all these people have been following Viewpoint. It had decent ratings, and now they're not even going to show the last episode, so they've cancelled it because of the allegations. But they've taken away his BAFTA as well.
What channel was that on?
ITV.
Jeez. So, according to ITV, he's guilty then.
Well, that's the thing. You see, you're right. It's they're judging him. The press is judging him, and therefore, the normies believe it. So what can you do? Eh?
It's not good, is it?
You got to be careful. If you're an actor, if any of you are planning to be actors, just stay off Twitter. And just don't touch any women. That's it.
Yeah, stay on social media completely. Yeah,
yeah, you should.
Well, I mean, but that's
Commander's
happening.
It happens Twitter,
in the workplace too.
Good man.
Yeah,
it happens in the workplace too, though. Any workplace, because it's just it's crazy how quickly things can go from bad to worse,
Yeah.
And you've done nothing, It's like you just brush up against someone, and I always say sorry as soon as I do it, because you just can't help it sometimes. You're so busy trying to do your job that you just don't realize there's someone there, And but fair enough if it continues, it's a bit weird. But other than that,
Do you know what, guys? I was listening to this conversation because I ventured out one day last week. Now,
oh, well done.
I'm joking. I was at the bus stop and I was listening to this conversation between two girls and one guy, and the two girls were very, very woke, and they were talking about how men have done this and white privilege and all that, and I didn't want to get involved because I don't know them. Anyway, so they were talking about how horrible men were, rapists and all that, and how, whatever. And one of them mentioned that character that Charlize Theron played in the movie. That
Monster?
That Monster, yeah. That was based on a true story.
Yeah.
The woman went killing people, killing men, sleep with them and then killed them for some apparent reason. She was evil. And this guy mentioned it to these two girls, and they were in complete denial about it. It was really weird to hear that this girl, even though this guy was saying it's a fact, they made a film out of it. These two girls will go, no, don't want to hear it. It's not true. Blah blah blah. And I was thinking to myself, this is what we're living in now. People would not accept the truth. Only their own truth, the way they see it.
Commander, you got any opinion on that?
Oh well, sure. I mean, you go on. Discovery Channel or National Geographic, they've got hours, months worth of documentaries of like women serial killers and things like this. And you look at statistics of domestic violence, and it's more or less evenly balanced when it comes to women versus men as perpetrators. There's no perfect angels in this whole situation. You guys are talking about, on that side of the pond, these sort of false accusations that come, or these accusations that come against people. And, I kept coming back to the Duke lacrosse situation. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Duke is a big university in America.
Right.
And there was a lacrosse team that had been accused. The entire team was accused of attacking and raping this one black woman, as it was, who was hired for the evening's entertainment, but non-touching entertainment. If you get my drift, and so the team was completely pilloried. As Cruel Barab writes, the court of public opinion, they hung these guys, but when it came to the court of law, basically, it came out that she had been lying the whole time. And made the whole thing up. Of course, these guys' reputations were completely ruined, and this came on the back of a whole bunch of other episodes that were more or less hoaxes. And but at the same time, then you got into the era of the Harvey Weinsteins and the these kind of things, which ended up being borne out. And so there's no you just have to take each merit on. Or each case on its merits, and you can't reduce it like these girls at the bus stop were to, just genders in general, or just, I think that my side is correct, because there's bad people on all sides and there's good people on all sides.
There is, yep.
And and it's silly. It's a one more instance of division. They're trying to divide black and white. They're trying to divide, rich and poor, and they're trying to divide men and women. We started out the stream talking about what's going on in Melbourne with the toilets, and it looks like, and their words say, well, this is something that's inclusive. But in fact, it's not inclusive. It's exclusive. And it's just one more instance of this us versus them thing that they try to do to destabilize the society around us to empower themselves. Yep. It's sick and wrong.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
I will just say hello to the Space Book in the chat. Congratulations, Mr. Brown and pals, on 100 shows. How you managed to have made so much in just a few months is beyond me. It's called lockdown, mate. But well done. Have a great stream. I will just say, everybody watching this on Rewind or in the chat should subscribe to the Space Book. Really, really great channel, great presenter. He was the first person I streamed with last year, so we've not looked back since. So that's how I met Ian, through the Space Book. So yeah,
and me,
cheers, Dan.
And me,
and Matt Pott.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Cheers, Dan. Thank you, my friend.
It's crazy the way the world's going, isn't it? It really is. I mean, I was watching, as I said, I watched Starsky and Hutch today on YouTube. It's got the pilots. I watched it, and every maybe 15 minutes there was an advert. And you know what was really interesting about the adverts? All of them featured a gay character. All of them. I mean, I've got nothing against gay people, per se, but it's getting a bit irritating now that there's a lot of adverts with, gay people.
In Australia now, if we have any children, we have one white child and one Asian child, and that's so they're obviously friends.
Yeah, that's I don't per se have a problem with people being represented in advertisements or in pop culture or something like that, but I think that unless you're doing something that's specific to one particular group or another, by over representing, I don't know. I was telling somebody over this weekend that I have a really high BS meter. When something
it's that
just
helmet
stinks, or when something goes off wrong, it's just it's
the built-in circuitry to the helmet, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like Boba Fett, but instead of having the the 360 view, I've got a BS meter, and
Boba Fett.
And when you see this kind of stuff, it's like it just sets me off. It's pure propaganda. And it's crazy. It's like, okay, so every single commercial that comes on, features like an interracial couple, for example. Okay, there's nothing wrong with interracial couples, but the thing is that not everybody that buys soap,
all of them,
not everybody that buys a car, or not everybody that takes a vacation or buys medicine is an interracial couple. It's like represent your audience, represent your customers. What? And they're not doing that. They're just trying to push a narrative. And it's
I have to ask the question though, why is an interracial couple buying soap?
I don't know, but you know what,
as a
Commander?
couple, you know.
Do you know what, Commander? Basically, I was shocked the first time I went to LA, and I mean, it is good that they do have different color, people on screen and gay people. It's fine, and I do get your point that it's being over. They're basically pushing an agenda. You can feel it when you watch the advert. That's what I meant when I. But I remember the first time I went to LA and I was watching an advert. And there were more black people doing adverts in America than in England any day. Even credit cards, and stuff like that. And I didn't think much. I noticed it because in England there were hardly any black people doing. Well, there were a few, but not as much as America. When I was over there, I think it was like one in every 3 ads that I saw in America. And I was really shocked as well. Food. My God, they have adverts for food all the time. No wonder why people eat so much in America. Every minute, it's either the news
buffalo wings.
Yeah, it's either the news about the poor
Made from
areas and
buffaloes.
people getting arrested, or food. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
Other bovine animals are available, by the way. That was a good joke,
that they are. I mean, it's like, I read something maybe this was a couple of years ago now, where they interviewed people and they said, what a percentage of America is homosexual, right? What percentage of America is either non-white or say black or something like that? And people came up with wildly outsized guesses, I suppose they were, based on that. They said something like 40%, 30% of America is black, right? Or like 25% of America is homosexual or gay or something. And it's like, we're talking in America, those statistics are more like 13% black and like 2% gay, maybe, depending on how you define that. But people have, because of this propagandization, is that a word, come up with this sort of false reality that they inhabit, based solely on what they see on TV and in advertisements and in what they're sold.
As Meghan Markle said, did she say perceived truth?
No, I don't listen to anything that bitch says. But
basically, it means that it's true in their minds. So then that must be the truth.
Right. Well, that's what do you call that? That's a delusion. Right,
yeah,
delusions are a form of insanity.
Perceived truth is the buzzword for that.
Yeah, sure, yeah, and that's what it is. It's a false reality. And the longer that you live in a delusion, the less satisfactory your life is likely to be. That's why in the old days, we used to try to heal people that had delusions, and now we simply encourage them to run around and continue to do this stuff. I was having this discussion.
Great for that.
What's that?
Twitter is great for that.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why I'm not on it. It's just a.
You heard it first, peeps. Commander culture does not go on Twitter, so that speaks volumes.
I don't see the point of it. I never have, and that's not to denigrate people who are on it, but I don't even like the system. It's like you just click out a few words. As you can tell, I'm a man of many words, not few.
Oh yes.
And so there's not enough. What am I going to say on Twitter? There's nothing.
It's a bit weird. It's a little bit less personal on Twitter. As far as I got asked if I was friends with anyone on here from Facebook.
Hello,
and
Picasso.
I feel that that's a bit of an invasion of privacy, as far as I'd like to be friends with Ian and everyone on Facebook, but
you're welcome.
I just kind of
you can be my friend if you want.
I just but this is the thing that
we're all friends here.
It's kind of like a lot of people just like it to be private, yeah. So Twitter's a little bit less,
I think, look, with Facebook, with me, right, I have relatives all around the world, so that's the only way I can stay in contact with them. So Facebook's a kind of a must for me when it comes to family, right? And I always use every platform to advertise my wares. I never have an argument on Twitter. I always put stupid jokes or or advertising, what I'm doing. And I think those platforms are there to actually, they're meant to be helping you. So advertise. Don't get into any arguments. What's the point? Do you know what I mean? What is the point? If somebody says something bad to you, block them. Easy as that.
Yep.
I will say the Queen of Xanadu is in Bionic Belly Button.
Oh wow!
Queen of
Hello.
Hail Bionic Belly Button.
I think isn't Stella Heather the Queen, but you've just got promoted, my dear.
So there are many queens of Xanadu.
There is, and I think Doomcock is the biggest one of the lot.
Oh, come
so do we not like Meghan Markle then? Because I was watching Fringe the other day and she was in it.
Oh, I can't stand the sight of her.
Really? PCAT.
I like Meghan. I like Meghan. I'm just saying it.
PCAT said, I hate when people like Oprah ask somebody like Markle about her truth or your truth. Yeah, perceived truth. What a load of bollocks.
But did you see what happened in that interview, right? She said like there was a question of what color the baby would be. And just the expression of Oprah's face, right? You can tell that she wanted to do that expression to actually create controversy, because it could have just been a passing thing. But my instincts tell me they blew that up in all proportion.
Yeah. That looked like acting.
Showbiz.
That looked like acting.
Because there's the royal family in many things, but they're not stupid, for God's sakes. They're not going to say that in front of her, who happens not to be white, are they? Do you know what I mean?
No.
None of them are stupid, right? Princess Anne looks a bit like a horse, but apart from that, none of them are that stupid, right? So
what she reminds me of? She reminds me of the dog that's in Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You've seen that? Dog with a human face.
I went out with her.
But look how they've forgotten about Andrew. And the stuff that he did
conveniently, yes.
Yeah, conveniently, the whole world, the newspapers forgot about him. I mean, this is the thing. You can't trust what you read in newspapers. You can't trust what you even see on TV, with Oprah giving it all that. Oh my God, really? Blah blah blah. And it's like, no, that person must have said it in passing, because I cannot believe that the people in the royal family are that stupid. Do you know what I mean?
It is alleged.
Yeah, well, they've made it not alleged. A lot of people believe it. Even my mum believes it. Do you know what I mean? So that's saying a lot. So there you go.
Wow.
Because my mum's a normie, right? So she believes everything she sees in the newspaper. She's watched that whole interview from start to finish. My mum,
the Markle.
Yeah. So
I think I've just seen clips, and it's makes me vomit.
Well, do you know what? Right. I mean, as I said, the royal family isn't. They're not perfect, right? But you can tell that they do try. They try very hard, and I think it's a lot of people say, oh, the Queen's cold, you don't see her cry, whatever. But what's the point? Why do you want to see the Queen cry? We know she's human. Well, then again, So I don't know. Why is
she? Is she not a replicant then?
She may be.
Probably because she didn't cry at Princess Diana's funeral.
Yeah, and Philip's. I mean, she was sitting all on her own, and you could, your instincts, right? If you're in tune with your instincts tells you that when something seems like the truth, you can feel that it's a lie. Like when they were burying Philip, and she was sitting there all on her own, I could literally tell that she was devastated. Even though she wasn't crying or whatever. It's just my gut instincts that tell me that woman was devastated. Do you know what I mean?
Who wouldn't be?
Exactly. But she doesn't show it because she's the Queen. And they have these rules, and, they have to abide by them, stuff like that.
Yes. But, yeah.
Well, and people are sort of socialized or desensitized or whatever you want to call it to think that everything has to be a spectacle, that everything has to be a Hollywoodized, sort of explosion of emotion, where it's like, okay, if you're the Queen of England and your husband is 98 years old or whatever, and he's been knocking on death's door for several months, you expect this is going to come along. You're going to take it in stride. You're not going to melt down like you're on the set of a Hollywood movie, but people expect to see that.
I can understand, if it's like a sudden death, like really sudden. I think that was leading up to it for several, like you say, for several months. So I think they knew, so they were sort of prepared for it. But when it's a sudden death, it's absolutely, it's horrible.
Yeah,
well, it's horrible either way.
Being with it recently, it's a horrible thing.
May I just say, Matt Potts, I haven't forgotten about doing Buck Rogers. Sorry to kind of throw this in. It's because Bionic Belly Button's in the chat, and she is invited to come on as well because she's a massive Buck Rogers fan.
Nice.
Hang on. I love Buck Rogers. I do.
Yeah,
it's like one of my very earliest memories is I mean, that was the first actor I ever learnt.
Yeah,
his name I ever learnt was Gil Gerard, and I'm still learning.
you still haven't mastered it yet.
But the thing is, though, in those days, Matt, I hate to say this without saying sexist, but men were men and women were women.
Yeah, watch the opening credits for Buck Rogers in the 80s.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and women weren't ashamed to be women either, were they? They weren't ashamed. Because
I think what's her name didn't like the mini skirts.
You mean who's the girl?
The actress. Oh, I can't remember her name right now. Wilma Daring. Yeah.
What's her name?
That's Erin Gray.
Erin Gray. She was gorgeous.
Cruel Birat.
Yes, she was.
Far beyond this world I've known.
Yep.
Far beyond my time.
Oh dear.
Here we go. Cheese. I love it.
Who's playing that?
It's me.
We'll get a copyright strike.
Yeah, you'll get a copyright
How
strike.
will we?
We'll get a copyright strike, you plum.
I'm sorry.
To be fair, not that it matters because we're not monetized.
I've got the whole soundtrack on my phone. I've got the
Doesn't
whole
make shit,
soundtrack
does
on
it?
my phone. That's how much of a
I love
fan
the
I am.
what were they called? The ships that they flew around in?
Starfighters.
Yeah, they were really great designs, right?
Designed by Ralph McQuarrie as well.
They were better than those big willies that used to fly around in Battlestar Galactica. I never liked them.
I won't hear a word against the Vipers from Battlestar Galactica. Thank you very much.
I like the Klingons. The Cylons. The Cylon ships are really cool.
They were. They were awesome.
Man.
You're all talking over each other.
Yeah, I mean, I remember getting a Corgi version of the Buck Rogers ship, and because it had 2 points at the end, they used to put a bar across
the bridge.
A bar across it, and it really did spoil the design of it. I was like,
it did. I wanted to saw that middle piece off mine.
So did I.
The Starfighter is the rejected dildo from Battlestar Galactica.
It is, yeah.
But I love the Buck Rogers, though.
I love that.
Only season 1, though. Only season 1.
Battlestar Galactica is one of the greatest themes ever.
It is.
I can agree with that.
Who created that? Who wrote that?
Stu Phillips. It's that good.
Did.
I even remember who composed it.
He also did Buck Rogers as well.
Oh, did he?
Amazing.
Yeah.
I like William Conrad's voice in the beginning of Buck Rogers.
Oh, but you know what? He used to do a lot of voiceovers.
He
did Tarzan. He did Lone Ranger. He did a lot of ones.
And he was canon. He was canon in the 70s.
Well, to me, he was always Jake and the Fat Man.
Frank Cannon.
Yeah.
Bobby Ball.
To me, he was always Jake and the Fat Man.
Cannon was disabled, wasn't he?
No, that was Ironside.
All right. I was going to say, Ironside. Ironside would be fucked if he's going to Melbourne.
Yeah.
They took over all his toilets.
That would have been a great joke, but I got the person mixed up, so I do apologize.
Do you know what though? I was a huge fan of all those shows, Cannon, Ironside, Starsky and Hutch, and all that. And
when you watched,
good. Yeah, because they were good. When you watch them today, they still are good. That's the thing.
They are.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Well, it's like when I'm watching Buck Rogers, and I'm like, I just like to watch things that are entertaining, and and not to be
Much
thought about.
like this channel.
This is why they put her into, they put this person in to make it more, like more happy and gay, more gay people and everything like that. And it's like.
P-Cat in the chat says the combo of Galactica theme. I'm sorry, P-Cat, I'm going to burst your bubble here, mate. And Lorne Green narration is classic.
Hang on.
Yeah,
hang on. That wasn't Lorne Green.
Patrick
McNee.
It was
Patrick McNee. Yeah.
Wow. Patrick McNee's a legend.
Count Ibley.
He was. Yep.
Legend. He was a legend, man. That he was amazing. I met him once. Very, very nice guy.
Oh wow.
I'm extremely jealous.
Same here. Patrick McNee, English gentleman.
You know what he asked me? He said, I said, so what you do next then? And he says, I'm retired. And I said to him, oh, so you don't do any TV? And he goes, yeah, I've been invited to he goes, this band. I think they're called Blur, and he goes, I don't even know what they sing, but they've asked me to be in their video.
It was Oasis.
Or was it Oasis? It was Oasis. Yeah, it was Oasis. And I was like, and I never heard of Oasis either. So I said, yeah, you might as well do it.
P-Cat has redeemed. Yes, McNee opening and Green at the end. Yes.
But didn't McNee used to be the voice of one of the villains as well in Galactica?
Yeah, he was the actual
leader.
Actor.
Yeah.
That was the one thing I really hated in that reboot was the fact they didn't have him. They just they got rid of the whole alien thing altogether, and I couldn't get into it.
Do you know what my favorite Battlestar Galactica episode is? My favorite episode is Starbuck.
I was going to say
when Starbuck got stuck on that planet with.
I was going to say that one,
and you got to learn about the Cylon. What a great episode!
Amazing episode.
That was Galactica 80.
No. Oh, was that the one where he with the girl?
I think that was the last episode of Galactica 80. It couldn't be saved. It got cancelled after that. Such a great episode.
I did like Galactica, but I was always a Star Wars fan. I always thought that if I liked it too much, I'll be betraying Star Wars.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no problems liking Buck Rogers though. No problems liking Buck Rogers.
Oh,
but the thing is, Ian, Star Wars betrayed you, didn't it?
Yes, you're right, Mr.
You
Brown,
heard it first, right. Everybody.
I'm really scared now because
Mr. Brown is saying a pearl of wisdom. Star Wars betrayed all of you. Quiet, Matt. Go.
He did.
They've not been able to reboot Buck Rogers because it's been in
limbo.
Legal hell, and now that they've got it, it's like, oh shit, they're gonna fuck with it.
I think they want. Did they not want Guy Ritchie to direct it or something like that? Some famous director to direct it. I know George Clooney's linked with it.
Wow.
I don't think George Clooney's going to be playing him though. Somehow.
No, he's too old.
Matthew Vaughn would be fantastic to do Buck Rogers.
Does anyone remember the Flash Gordon reboot they did, this TV show?
Yeah, I remember it.
That was really mental. That was
I didn't think much of it.
Stupid. No. And the thing was, that's the only time Sci-Fi has actually turned around and said, this is what we're going to make a Flash Gordon series. It's going to be like 3 series long. And like it didn't even make it past the first series. They actually cancelled it all.
Yeah.
Because it was so bad, you know.
Do you remember around about that time when Flash Gordon the movie came out? They had some wonderful posters that when you saw the poster, you really want to go. I remember going to school and going on the tube.
Ones.
Yeah, and seeing the poster for Superman the movie with the S and the rainbow, and immediately when I saw it, I was like, I've got to see that film. There's nothing on this planet that's going to stop me from watching that film. You know, the posters don't do that anymore.
No, but the guy that did the Flash Gordon poster, he just recently died.
Oh,
yeah, but I think he was Italian, and so it could have been on spaghetti or something. But yeah, no. But anyway, yeah. So
naughty. Here's a question for all of you guys, though. What was the poster, right, that made you go, "Shit, I've got to see that film"?
Go on, Swap Shop. You can go first.
Oh, I don't know, really definitively, but you've just, for some strange reason, sparked a memory of the original Black Hole movie poster.
Oh wow, that's a good
poster. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Not a bad film either.
I loved it. I mean, it's terrible, really, but I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. What about you, Matt? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, you go, Commander.
Oh, I was going to say that when that the thing that popped into my mind right away was Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park.
Wow.
I was. I don't know, a young-ish kid, always into dinosaurs, but always looking for something a little more serious. And, of course, the novel had sort of passed me by at that particular point in time. And I saw on the marquee at the movie theater this skeleton of a Tyrannosaurus and just thought, oh my God, this looks serious. Steven Spielberg, right? The guy that did Jaws and E.T. and this other stuff.
I've heard of
dinosaurs seriously for the first time ever. Nothing against the stop motion, claymation sort of dinosaurs and stuff, but I was done with all that. I wanted something that was real.
Yeah.
And then I looked into it and I said, oh, this Michael Crichton guy, he's written all this other stuff and he's fantastic. This is going to be the movie event of the century. And for me, sure enough, it was. Jurassic Park became one of my favorite movies of all time.
I'll just throw the question open to the chat as well. Movie poster that you thought, yes. Let us know, chat.
There were some amazing movie posters. Like I remember walking to my friend's house and seeing the was it Tim Burton's Batman poster for the very first time. And it had nothing on it. It just had the bat sign on it.
That was a good
what? They've made a Batman film. I've got to see this. Because in those days, there was no internet. I mean, we had Starburst, we had Starlog. That was the only information we'd get from those magazines about films coming out, fantasy films coming out. And when I saw that poster for Batman, I was like, oh my God.
I will say, I will agree with that because I wanted to steal one of those posters out of the frames, but I couldn't manage it. That's how good them posters were. Pot?
Okay. So I own the original movie poster, the first one that came out for Buck Rogers. It's the only one that I ever bought off eBay because I just loved that image. That it's like a classic image. It's for the movie, and but there was one that recently that was really, really eye popping, and I mean it was a terrible film, but Iron Man 3 with Robert Downey Jr. I don't know if you remember the pose that he was in, but it went down really, really well.
Oh, the only poster I remember is him falling from the sky and his armor looked all battered. Was that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And I think he was surrounded by other suits as well. But
that's the one where it's battle damage because because the house has been blown up and that's the battle damage.
Yeah, that's it.
Yahtzee Istophobe says Tron.
Oh wow, Tron was a great poster.
That's for sure.
Poster. There was some. I mean, I remember seeing the Raiders of the Lost Ark poster, knowing nothing about it, thinking, "Is this a sci-fi?" And then I thought it must be a Western because the guy's wearing a hat. And then, I read about it in Starburst and I thought, well, George Lucas is going down a different avenue with this. Is he not going to make another sci-fi? And then when I saw it, it blew me away. It blew me away, and I totally got what he was trying to do.
I'm kind of in agreement with Cruel here. Do you remember the old? You used to get trailers on the old VHS tapes.
Yeah,
they were quite exciting. Yeah,
they were. They were. See, remember CIC used to have the sign up, and then it said, "Warning, warning! You're not supposed to copy this film."
You used to know that it was a good big budget film when it was Drew Zan that actually did the poster art.
Yes.
You knew once they got him that it was obviously going to be an epic film.
Yeah.
Whether or not it was going to be a good film, that's another.
Agreed.
But I mean, because I remember getting Big Trouble in Little China, and it looked like a huge Indiana Jones adventure and everything like that. And to be honest, I was a little disappointed because
so was I a bit.
It wasn't like it was supposed to.
Well, it was made for
what
nothing.
it represented. Yeah, I know, but posters are different to what you actually see when you see the film. It's not like you can see the film when you.
You know what I think is one of the worst posters ever designed from a really good film. I thought Blade Runner was the worst poster design I've seen in a long time. It looks like they just cut Harrison Ford out and stuck him in the city or something like that with the gun. There's never been a good poster for Blade Runner.
I know which one you mean now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's just like
because Rachel never looked like Rachel properly, did she?
No, she didn't. So
may I say my favorite poster?
Going in.
Please do.
Far too many to choose, but the one what's popping into my mind is RoboCop.
I love the RoboCop poster. Love it. Absolutely love it.
It's a really good one too.
RoboCop
and actually shows off the horror movie. No, that shows off the horror movie genre. Jaws.
Yeah, that's a great poster. That's a classic.
Yeah, that's a great poster.
Yeah. The person swimming above, and then you've got that shark right underneath her, and you're like, "Fuck."
Commander, can you think of any more?
Oh, geez. I thought we were just thinking about our best one. You guys have listed off some pretty good ones. Man. I'll think on it.
I will say the Star Trek posters are pretty good.
It is. That's another good one as well. That's, I mean,
in fact, all of them actually.
Maybe we're being tainted because of the movies that we like. But I tell you, there was one film, right, which I've never seen in my life, but a lot of people have seen it. And I remember as a kid being really scared of this poster, and it was a film called It's Alive. And the poster was a pram, a baby's pram.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And the like little creature's hand scratching out of it. You couldn't see what it looked like, but these little creatures' hands scratching the top of it, and that scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. I remember seeing that when I was like 10, walking past the Flea Pit Cinema, and at the top it just said "It's Alive," and it's like X, because in those days it used to be X.
Flea Pit Cinema.
Yeah, well, they had flea pits around where I lived. Flea Pit, because they were all nasty cinemas. But people Saturday nights used to be packed with kung fu movies and horror movies they used to show.
See the Back to the Future one.
Back to the Future.
That just shows you that you're going on an adventure.
Yeah.
That particular one. It's like you're in for a ride, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Should we should say the original Star Wars.
Yeah, I like the British one where
there's
Luke
a lot of
pointing
too many of those.
No, the British one's the best one.
I know which one you mean, Ian.
Yeah, I think that's the best one.
I agree.
The classic Hildebrandt one as well, which is where all the characters look nothing like they did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is that the one where Luke's holding the lightsaber up in the sky? Behind Darth Vader.
Yeah, I think they designed that one before they cast the characters, apparently. So Lucas had an idea of what they wanted to look like, but there wasn't finalized versions, obviously.
MC's in.
Princess Leia is like doing a weird pose, isn't she?
Yeah, but
Princess Leia's doing a weird pose in that.
as
Hail Dutch Kitty.
It looked nothing like them, did it? It absolutely nothing
No.
like them. It was Luke all muscular.
Yeah, very confusing.
Yeah. Well, they made that version in a toy. Did you ever see that?
Oh yeah.
There was
I bought it.
There was a
I bought
toy. Did you really? There was a toy version of muscular Luke Skywalker, and it just even Mark Hamill said I was never ever that buff.
They were muscular versions of them all in the 90s. Even like the Princess Leia one was embarrassing.
Don't forget Star Wars Day in 3 days.
No, it's not. No, it's not. 25th.
No, it's not. 2
May the
days.
4th, isn't it?
That's not Star Wars Day. 25th Star Wars Day.
Well, it is in my world.
Oh, you're a normie, though. You're a normie.
And Disney's
sorry, I've been caught out again. Sorry.
As I said, there's been some great posters that made me want to see the film, and it's a shame they don't do that now. I mean, in fact, I didn't even know what film won the Oscars this year. I've never heard of any of those films.
It was a Chinese director, wasn't it?
Never heard of it. It must be bittersweet because the guy that was in Get Out, he won an Oscar, didn't he? It must be really frustrating for him because hardly anybody's watching. I think it was like 10 million watching. I know no one I know in this country watched the Oscars at all. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so there you go.
There's that guy that's making all those what do they call Bloomhouse films?
Sorry, Kitty.
And I'm just think they're terrible.
Oh, they're not so bad. They're not so bad.
I thought
Fantasy Island. Jeez.
I thought
that was bad.
The last Halloween, the last Halloween film was Bloomhouse, wasn't it?
Yeah, where's that with
Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yeah, when she was old and stuff. Yeah,
and I enjoyed it.
It was all right.
It kind of ignored all the other ones, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yes.
Which I liked, and apparently they've made 2 back-to-back to finish the trilogy off properly.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, no, as I said, right, you know, I really hanker for the old days of movies. In my opinion, the 70s, a bit of the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s had the best movies, in my opinion. But then again, I'm an old fart anyway, so I would say that, wouldn't I?
True, though.
The 80s to me. I mean, when I remember Labyrinth, the artwork for Labyrinth.
I didn't like it, but I grew to like it, and I do fancy. She was lovely.
I mean the poster, but it's like, but even then, I was really surprised because for the longest time I thought David Bowie was a woman, and I was expecting her to be. Yeah, no, I'm serious. And then, like I thought she was the Queen Goblin, you know, and. So anyway, I went to the movies, and I remember, and I go, "This is a fella."
I will just say to Cruel Birab in the chat, I think you should check out the most recent Halloween film, mate. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad.
If you like the original Halloweens, it's.
I don't like slasher films. It's one of the genres I just never, unless it's supernatural in some way. I just don't. It just doesn't interest me.
Same here, but Halloween does have a special place.
I mean, I can never understand that. You know, I mean, I like John Carpenter's work, like The Fog.
One and two are fantastic.
And They Live are fantastic too.
Back in the old VHS days, Halloween 1 and 2.
Do you know what? Right. Also, I remember seeing the poster for Flashdance, and I thought, oh, this film looks like crap. And then I remember my friend saying, let's go and see Flashdance. We went to see it, and it was rubbish, but I was so mesmerized by Jennifer Beals because she was so gorgeous in the film. The film was absolute tosh, but she was just absolutely gorgeous.
Tupac
I love those socks.
Tupac says, you like Alien? Isn't that a slasher in space?
It kind of.
Yeah.
But it's science fiction.
Yeah. So
science fiction, supernatural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is the alien a replicant, though?
No, the alien's an alien.
It always annoys me with that damn the android in it. I was like, it's like
Ash.
As if
Ash.
It's like, how do we get an android on here? Do we even have androids exist? You know,
I actually thought that was a great twist, though. I don't know about you guys. I thought it was absolutely fantastic because I thought he was an alien or something, and then he turns out to be this android, you know, and then that's when you get to learn that the world that they live in, it's standard practice to have an android or androids were just being made at that moment in time, which was it was great, absolutely great.
I'll just say to MC in the chat, the original Halloween is great, which it is. I didn't like 2 as much. I liked it because it continued from the original, and Pamela Susan Shoop. That's all I'm saying. So there you go. Moving on.
I have to say, just now as well, the really minimal image of the original Close Encounters movie poster I thought was really evocative.
That is
really spooky as well.
Yeah, when I saw that poster, seriously, after watching Star Wars, I was like, "What is this? This looks awesome, whatever it is." You know.
Well, I mean, if we're going to go that way, then I think we should go like E.T.
Oh, E.T.'s a great
iconic. Yeah.
Don't start him off.
The worst one's got to be the worst post I've seen in recently was the Wonder Woman 1980. It was all like different colors and stuff.
Yeah.
It was absolute. It was like a dog's dinner. It was awful.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. How could anyone think that is a good poster? I do not know. I really don't. But there you go.
I tell you what, there's actually one of the first photoshopped posters that I could see that, and I knew that they were going to go that way, and it was Batman Returns.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember those ones? They actually used like because they originally went with the symbols, the symbol, and it was like snowy, so it was like frozen or something.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great poster.
But then they had the other poster, and it had all their faces on it.
Yeah, it was rubbish. That would be
and that's where it all began, I think.
Cruel in the chat. Pamela Susan Shoop. She was hot. Indeed.
But do you remember, right? If it wasn't for Tarantino, so when Tarantino released Reservoir Dogs, the clever marketing had posters of the individual characters and quotes from what they said. So it kind of put into your head the lines of that film, and they did it even better when Pulp Fiction came along, and then everybody started doing it. In the old days, it used to be one poster or maybe even 2, but then suddenly you were getting raft of posters with all the characters in the film with quotes, what they're saying. Do you know what I mean? Because of Tarantino, because of what their films did.
What was the quote from Mr. Brown?
I can't remember.
Anybody remember? Shit, wasn't it?
Yeah. But you know, as I said, you know, posters have really
that nearly
really gone downhill now. There's some absolute crap posters out there for films of today, and you just think, what are they thinking? You know,
it's like the Star Wars ones, all the new Star Wars ones, because they're all just basically Photoshop bashes, aren't they?
Yeah,
they look like they should be sold on the pavement outside a charity shop as you walk on a Saturday. You know, in laminate. You know, they're that cheap and nasty looking. Oh, terrible.
But it's like, as I said, right? I think the 80s, the 90s, and the 70s had the greatest films of all time, in my opinion. Like I remember, was it 4 years later or 3 years later, seeing the poster for Temple of Doom with Harrison Ford holding the knife, you know, like half his shirt torn, the hat, and I'm like, I'm there. Do you know what I mean? My ass is on the chair even before I've hit the chair. You know.
That's my favorite Indiana Jones film. I don't care what people say.
MC, I see what you mean, Mr. Brown. She was also in Buck Rogers. She was, mate. Nice trivia.
Yeah.
I think she was in I think she's in Knight Rider as well.
I mean, there's some great films with bad posters, like Casablanca has a crappy poster. Yeah, but then again, that was the 40s, 50s? I can't remember.
A long time ago.
That came out.
Commander, have you come up with any posters?
40s.
Oh well, I was as soon as you guys said Back to the Future, I was immediately thinking of those 3 ones where it sets up the succession where you've got Marty in the first one, then you've got Marty and Doc in the futuristic, then you've got Marty and Doc and Mrs. Doc, I forget her name, in the Old West, and those are great. Those are great movie posters. But then I thought, okay, I got to be original. They're going to come back to me, and then you guys were talking about horror movies. they were horror movie posters were so good. I wasn't really a fan of them when I was younger, or really even now. But Fright Night, if you guys remember, that one, that poster was amazing because it had it all. It didn't tell you everything about the movie, but it gave you just enough to say this is a scary movie.
God, I was so afraid to watch that film. I was so afraid. I saw that poster and I saw the video cover and everything, and I was looking at it going, Jesus Christ, how fucking scary is this going to be? And I was like, what? I was like 11 or something at the time. I thought I'm just going to get nightmares from watching this. I want to see it. I really want to see it.
Right.
But you see, that's what we were like as kids, weren't we? We I remember when I was growing up, the certificates weren't so prevalent. So you could go to a video store and get a horror film out when you're 8. They would give you the horror film, you know what I mean? Because it didn't really have any certificates on them. Then they started to introduce the certificates, and you had to be 18 to rent out a horror film. So
I will say, good shout from Tupac. Child's Play was a good poster.
Yes, I got to admit. And I tell you what was really good: The Exorcist. It's just the Exorcist standing there and the light coming from the window. Brilliant poster.
Fright Night, P-Cats.
I don't. Fright Night was a good poster. Nightmare on Elm Street was a good poster as well.
Was it Robbie McDowell in that?
Roddy McDowell, yes.
Roddy,
Fright Night. And the remake was David Tennant, wasn't it? In the remake. He played that character, didn't he? David Tennant. But yeah.
I think I was thinking about it because we were talking about, posters were great in the 80s and then they sort of have dropped off. And it occurred to me that there was a shift. One of the things I love movie trailers. And so sometimes with movies that I really like from the 80s, I'll go back and try to look, or even the 90s, I'll go back and look at the trailers and I'll say, these are really terrible. These are just generic, awful. Some great movie like Hunt for Red October. You go back and you look at the trailer and you're like, yeah, it's cringy, and you would, that wouldn't make you want to watch the movie. But the poster looks awesome. Oh, Hunt for Red October. There's another great one with a submarine and Sean Connery and so I think that it was just the medium, right? In the 80s, the poster was what got you into the theater. Because there was no internet, there was no viral videos or anything like that. So you had to have that one good iconic image. And then as the internet came along and these sort of things spread, you had that transition from the 90s into the 2000s, where now they put all their money, all their effort, all their talent into trailers. And posters are handled by some, secretary or somebody, some intern, and they just sort of have to put something up. But the trailer is where it really is where the art comes in. That's how.
Speaking of old trailers, there is a YouTube channel. I think it's called Modern Trailers. They do some of the old films. Some of the Star Trek ones are fantastic.
I've seen those.
They're really good.
Yeah. I'll tell you another thing, right? It must have been really hard for the Bond people to come up with a new post for James Bond. So I don't know who started it, where he was holding the gun, he was holding it in a Pacific way. Sean Connery was holding that gun in a Pacific way with his arms crossed with the gun next to his head. And then every poster had to feature Connery doing that. And then when they came to Lazenby, I don't know what they did. I don't know what the poster was for Lazenby's film. And then obviously Roger Moore followed suit, didn't he, with the crossing of the arms with the gun.
Trademarked?
I don't know. Is it?
I'm sure.
I don't know. But I mean,
no. A lot of Asian
Bond posters is for your Matt, for your eyes only, with the legs, where he's in the middle of the legs and he's got the gun. And I think that's a great poster, absolutely fantastic. I used to have it on my wall, but it's it was a long time ago. But there you go. But,
a lot of sorry to interrupt. Talking about movie posters before we do get off the subject. Apologies to Commander Culture because he can't see because he's not on Twitter. But
dang it.
I've sent a link to you guys on Twitter about 2 posters I've got in my bedroom, 2 Star Wars ones that I've always loved, and they're like unofficial, completely made by made by artists.
They're amazing,
They're really striking and really kind of different, and they make you kind of double take when you have a look at them. So go and take a look anytime you get a free second to like divert your eyes.
They look very kind of what I've briefly seen just a moment ago. The kind of very Art Deco.
Yeah.
Where have you put them?
I'll link you on Twitter, mate.
You did?
Yes.
Okay, so it's notifications then. I can't. Oh, wow, whoa! That's a great poster, man. That's a very avant-garde. That one. The next one's they're both very avant-garde. That's just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Striking, isn't it? Really striking.
I think there was a Star Trek one, the motion picture in that style.
Yeah, I think there might have been.
Yeah. But as I said, I just love films, and if it wasn't for films, I don't know what I would be doing. Do you know what I mean? I really wouldn't. I love watching films. I love making stuff, and as I said, if those things didn't exist, I'd probably just be a 9-to-5er. And
I mean, they just shape our lives, don't they? In so many ways, they sort of make you decide on directions in life. I'm gonna, not even if you're not going to go into that kind of industry, but they influence decisions you make throughout your life that can take you off on a completely different path. And the movies are so influential in that way, and mostly because they're such and it's number one escapism for everyone. Literally everyone. You could say that same thing about video games and comics, books, whatever. But the main thing that everyone gravitates to when they think of escapism is movies. That's the thing that completely transports us, like through the portal of the screen into this other world every single time.
Now they want to take it away from us.
Yeah,
I will throw this question out. Is there any film which the panel has seen, and this includes the chat as well, that you have seen while it was on release multiple times? So, shall we say, what shall we say, 4 times or 3 times? Or
I saw Temple of Doom 20 times in the cinema. 20 times. That's how much I liked Temple of Doom when I first saw it. I've always absolutely amazing film. Sorry, I've always amazing. I loved how exhilarating it was. It was so exhilarating. The bit in the cart, that was absolutely exhilarating, especially when you watch
so many great set pieces in that film, though, aren't there? There's so many, Yeah. And if I was old enough, I would have done the same thing in the cinema. But we rented it on VHS because I was just way too young at the time. I must have been like 12 or something. And I must have seen it, must have almost worn the rental tape out. We watched it so many times. My mates had come round for like the whole weekend, and we'd watch it so many times before we had to return the rental video.
That was like the old porno videotapes. You'd have the.
How come you know so much about that?
A resident expert.
Indeed.
I for me, it was Jurassic Park. I saw it twice on opening day, and then I saw it another 20 or so times in the theater. But before it ran out on its initial release, and then I caught it again on matinees, and when they re-released it a couple of years ago, I caught it again like 2 or 3 times. I cannot get enough of that movie.
That really did flip your switches, didn't it? That movie.
It flipped my switches.
Cruel in the chat. Phantom Menace 4 times. US Dutch Kitty. I wasn't born yet when Temple of Doom came out. It was a month later. There you go. Yahtzee A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Close Encounters, all over 4 times.
All of them.
That was back in the day as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
all of them. I remember seeing Empire Strikes Back in the Dominion, which was like a classy cinema in London, and then because I couldn't afford to. It wasn't a flea pit because I couldn't afford to see it again in the same cinema. I'd go to the flea pits and watch those films for 50p. So there'd be 50p. You just pay 50p and go in there, and you could sit in the cinema and keep watching it. As the film finish, it goes around adverts, and it'll come back on again. So you can sit all day in the cinema and watch the film. You remember that?
Heaven. That's my dear heaven. Oh my god!
I tell you, it was amazing in those days. Absolutely
good
amazing.
Value for 50p. MC, Star Wars, Empire, Return of the Jedi, Batman Forever, and unfortunately, Force Awakens. PCAT, LA Confidential. That's very left field.
Yeah. I like LA Confidential.
I've only ever
2-pack. Batman 89.
Yeah.
Go on, Matt.
But it's one of those. It's the films that exhilarates me. That's why I go. I mean, Close Encounters is one of my favorite films. I think I only saw that 3 times in the cinema. But Temple of Doom, Raiders of the Lost Ark, those films are really fast moving. Do you know what I mean? And that's one of the reasons why. Sorry, Matt, I cut you off. Pal. Sorry.
No, you're okay. Yeah, no, I've only ever seen 2 films twice in the theater, and that to me is a good film. Well, the first one was Never Ending Story.
Wow.
And it goes on a bit, that film, doesn't it?
It was
Never Ending,
yeah. But it was the fact that my mum was like, "You're not going to see that film again, are you? You've already seen it." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I liked it." So I went and saw it twice, and then the other one was a little bit controversial, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So yeah,
I think I saw that. I think I saw that twice or 3 times.
Yeah, I did.
But I did have a cinema card. US Dutch Kitty. Earliest movie theatre experience, I think, was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No, that was a good one. That was a fun one to watch.
Tupac. Anybody see Terminator 2 multiple times?
Not in the cinema, but I've seen
it in the theater.
Yeah, same here.
Worthy of multiple times.
Would have, yeah, exactly. I was a little young. I don't think.
Yeah, if that was out now, I'd go watch that multiple times. Such a great film.
It's worth seeing it on that side screen, isn't it?
It's still great now. MC Star Wars: A New Hope has had well into triple figure viewings. Jesus, it's a good film.
I'm the same with Alien and Aliens as well.
It's a good film. Same with the Star Trek. I'm kind of like that with the Star Trek films. We used to back in the day when we had 2 VHS recorders, we could tape the rentals.
Right.
So we had all the stuff like Star Wars, Empire, and all those. I wish I'd kept them because they were the original cuts. Star Trek. I've watched them so many times.
I think I saw Best of Both, or not, the First Contact in the theater multiple times. That one, because I was so disappointed with Generations when it came out. I was super excited, and I watched it, and I'm like, "What is this rubbish?"
Yeah.
And then First Contact came out, and my expectations were low. Of course, I saw it on opening day, like all the Star Trek fans, and we were all there. And then everyone's just like, "This is really awesome." And so went back and watched it. I don't remember exactly how many times, but it was probably more than 4. But I don't know if the movie holds up great as a Star Trek canon movie over the years. Certainly better than all the modern garbage. But I know Doomcock has his bones to pick with that movie, and I think those are legitimate criticisms.
US Dutch Kitty. Yes, my dad did the same thing with rentals back in the day. It was a common thing to do.
I remember getting for my birthday, I think it was sometime in the 90s, I got one of those double deck video players. So I could just tape anything I wanted. I could record anything. Right, yeah. It was quite compact as well. It was great. So, I'd like rent something or borrow it from a mate, quickly whip out my own copy. Job done. Amazing.
Did anyone have a Betamax back in the day? Remember there was VHS and then there was Beta. I never saw a Beta in my life in the States until I went to UK, and half of everybody had a Beta, and I thought, what's going on here?
The better formats.
It was. I had 2.
Mismanaged by the marketing, mismanaged by Sony.
I had a C5 and a C7. That's what I had. 2 betas.
Wow. Yeah, that's the days.
One was silver and one was off green. Yeah. Top loaders.
Remember the colors and everything. Oh, top loaders.
Top loaders.
Yeah, Siestophobe. I had the Amstrad deck to deck. Yes. Awesome.
Remember the TriStars, the Ferguson TriStars? Remember them? Anyone English? Remember them?
Yeah.
Or am I too old?
No, I remember them.
Ferguson TriStar.
Ferguson TriStars, they were called.
I'll have to look that up. Wow.
Going back to the kind of multiple films, I think the most recent ones I've seen, because I had a cinema card, was I think I saw Skyfall 7 times.
Didn't like that film at all.
I think I saw Transformers The original Transformers must have been 6 times, 7 times.
What, the animated movie?
No, the first Michael Bay one.
Oh, the
okay.
first one. Yeah.
Because I don't think it was all that bad, and it's still not bad now. Star Trek Into Darkness, I saw that a few times.
Oh, didn't like that one.
Before I realised that it was shit.
Well, it took a few viewings.
It took me a few years to realise that, yeah, it's shit.
Because it's so exciting, it's so glittery, you know. It's got a lot of energy. It's the best worst movie ever made, I think. You know, either as a Star Trek fan or just as a somewhat fan of cinema. But yeah, it reeled me in as well. And I thought, why are these great people saying this movie sucks? And then I listened and I rewatched and I'm like, oh yeah, this is terrible. How did I spend money on this?
I tell you what was a really good movie, and I saw 5 times, was the first Lethal Weapon. And I thought that was such a great movie. And you know, Riggs was really crazy in that film. He ran after a car with a machine gun in his hand, running down the road after a car. Do you know what I mean? That's part of the climax. And when he had that fight with what's his name, Mr. Joshua on the lawn.
Mel Gibson is American, by the way.
It's brilliant.
I stand corrected.
Absolutely brilliant film. Lethal Weapon. The second one was okay. The third one was crap, and the fourth one was even worse.
MC, I'm with you, Mr. Brown. Thank you. I like the first Transformers, and I enjoyed Into Darkness and Beyond more for the visuals. Yikes. Everything about there were some very big highlights in Into Darkness. One was Peter Weller.
Yes, for sure.
RoboCop.
The sound design was fantastic.
A friend of mine, I got to say, a friend of mine was actually an extra in that film, and actually it was that scene where they all get shot up.
Was it?
No, it's the scene where they all get shot up by Khan. You know, he just annihilates all the people that were of high. Oh
yeah, in the meeting, yeah.
Yeah, in the meeting, yeah. And she was actually in that film. And then she discovered she was just an extra, and then she discovered that she's actually on the Star Trek wiki, and her character has a name.
Oh, that's it!
Oh wow, that's a nice Christmas present.
So she said, "I didn't know my character had a name." She goes, "But there you go." She played Vulcan.
Has anyone here been in a movie, whether it be independent or Hollywood movie? Anyone?
Probably not. No.
No.
No, I'd like to be though, Ian. I'd like to be.
I was just saying, we'd like to be.
I was in a film my friend made, and I was cast as the drunk man. So I was the drunk man in the
Lemonade.
Yeah, on Lemonade.
I've got this guy on Facebook, and he was an extra in the 2016 Ghostbusters, and he was in the scene. He was in the scene.
It wasn't Hemsworth, was it?
They were at a concert. No, they were at a concert.
Oh, that one, yeah.
And she's walking along with a ghost on her, and she's like, "I'm just walking away now," and like he's actually there, and he's like opening his mouth and everything, and he's like, "I'm really excited by this movie." I was like, "You," and he was even in the trailer. And like he's like, "Here I am! Look!" And I was like, "Oh, you poor bastard!"
Of all the movies,
No,
never seen it. Should I watch it?
No. It really is not worth it.
I skipped through it. I was so excited by that movie, and then it just, I thought, I don't care. It's got women in it. I don't care. And then I saw the way that they fucking treated the men, and I was like, "Fuck you."
All right.
Has anybody seen a film that was that they didn't suspect was really good, and then years later you watch it and it still is really, really good, and you're kind of ashamed to admit that you really like it? Has anybody watched a film like that?
Yeah, Bad Day recently.
Very funny. I mean, seriously, I can tell you two films that I really liked, right? And a bit. One was a film called Lucas. I don't know if you ever saw it. It was a romance.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I'm
Corey,
sure I've seen it.
Corey Haim, whatever his name is, he was in it. And the girl from the Goonies, the pretty one in the Goonies, she was in it. It was like a teenage romance thing, which even when I watched today, I think it's still good. And a film called While You Were Sleeping with Sandra Bullock before she was famous, and that was another romance film that I thought was quite good. So yeah, I was just wondering.
Shall we? Commander, question. Yeah, guilty pleasures.
No. Well, to go on what Mega Geek was saying, like I think this is what you were asking. But when I remember seeing, I was going to the movie theater with one of my friends, and when I was a teenager, and we saw this thing, Austin Powers International Man of Mystery, and she just was like, that looks like the coolest thing ever, and it's all 70s and blah blah blah, going like this and that, and I just looked at it and I said, this looks like the dumbest thing I have ever seen in my life. What is it? I mean, are they making fun of James Bond? Are they making fun of the 70s? I don't even get what this crap is. And then, of course, she went to see it and told me all about it. She said, you got to go watch this movie. Okay. And so I did. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I was really surprised because usually, when I say I don't like something, there's a good reason for it. In that case, I thought it was very cleverly done. But I do admit that I'm a Mike Myers fan, and he always surprises me.
They were good films.
And the first one especially, they got a little tired as they went on, but that was one. It came out of nowhere because Mike Myers was famous for his Wayne's World, and then he had big success with So I Married an Axe Murderer, which was a great movie at the time. It doesn't stand up to rewatch, unfortunately, at all. But it's like he wasn't a big movie star, so to see him come up in something, it's like, oh, is he doing something else? Oh my God, that's going to be a flop. And then it wasn't. It was a surprise hit. So
we'll throw the question out to the chat as well. Films that are your guilty pleasure.
Oh, Con Air, PCAT says that was
Con Air's a good movie.
That one surprised me too because Nicolas Cage.
I've still not seen it.
It's a good movie.
Oh, you've got to watch it. You've got to watch it.
Absolute fun.
I've not seen The Rock either.
Oh, that's another one of my favorites.
I've seen snippets, but I've never actually sat down to watch it.
Sean Connery. Sean Connery makes that movie. He makes that movie.
You guys know about the fan theory with Sean Connery, right? In that one,
yeah.
Okay, so well, I'll tell you because I'll tell you right now. The Rock. So if you so the fan theory, and I thought about this when I first saw it, and so I was so excited to hear other people talk about it. But the Sean Connery's character, an old quote SAS operative who had been in prison, thrown in a third world jail for 1 million years, he is Sean Connery's James Bond. He's the original James Bond. Oh
yeah, I've heard people say that.
And they just bring him out of retirement, and they even consciously did that. They gave him some lines that Connery's Bond even had, But of course you are, right? And stuff like that. And you're like, that's James Bond, and it makes the movie 100 times cooler because it's a great swan song for the Connery Bond character. So if you watch it with that, fan theory in mind, it makes this cool movie 100 times cooler. I mean, you've got Ed O'Neill being the bad guy. You've got freaking, I don't know. It's great. You got Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
and
it's a cool Michael Bay movie. It really is, and it really is. I mean, Michael Bay, before he became Michael Bay, Bay really did make all right movies. I mean, Bad Boys wasn't too bad. The Rock was really good, in my opinion, and he just kind of went off the rails, didn't he? With Armageddon and the rest of them that followed.
It went to his head.
PCAT has done a mic drop for guilty pleasures. Roadhouse.
Roadhouse is a good movie too. The kung fu, the fighting's a bit crap, but it's good.
Well done.
It's a good film. By today's standards, of course, obviously. But yeah, it's a good film.
Probably never get made now.
Cruel Barev's guilty pleasures is Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I'm going to have to hear the justification for that. Mortal Kombat Annihilation was for me just the biggest disappointment on planet Earth.
Commander, I looked at the was it the first 7 minutes of Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, the new one.
Fucking hell, it did look good,
didn't it? I haven't seen the movie. It's
very
come out.
Stylized.
It was very good. It was like a Japanese movie. It wasn't like some Hollywood joke movie. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the movie. I have not watched any spoilers.
What about Jaws: The Revenge though?
Michael Caine
that
did it
shark
to buy a
has
house.
bad breath. Yeah, that line from the film was awful.
MC in the chat, Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah,
much
it was
like
all right.
my
That was
Sex
all
Life
right.
remake.
It wasn't great. Yeah, it wasn't great, but it was okay. It passed the time.
Tupac, Point Break.
Is that the one with the surfer dudes?
Yeah, Swayze again, I think. And what's his name?
Keanu Reeves, right?
Yeah, Keanu Reeves. And when people mention that, I always think of the Lee Marvin film, because I think it was a Lee Marvin film called Point Break as well, where he played a hitman.
Bastard, aren't you?
Yeah. No, you know what? I've in recent years I've been watching a load of black and white movies, what is it? And some Lee Marvin movies, because I was fascinated at one point with Lee Marvin's career. So I was watching all of his films and stuff. So yeah, I think one of them's called Point Break, I think.
MC, Underworld, Pacific Rim. So many to mention.
Oh, Underworld,
I do like Pacific Rim.
Same.
So what's the porn version called then of Pacific Rim?
Oh God,
probably Pacific Rim. I don't know.
Pacific Rim job, yeah.
I prefer Weapons of Ass Destruction anyway. It's a far better film.
Oh dear.
There was a movie in the 80s, an animated movie that I saw on my birthday.
Pop likes that one.
What's it called?
It was, I haven't told you yet. It was an animated movie when I was 14 years old, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it, but it is a blatant rip-off of Star Wars, right? But it is wonderful. The animation is just gorgeous all the way through, and it's animated by the same guys that did the Masters of the Universe cartoon.
Okay.
Oh.
And it was in 3D as well, which was like awesome because I'd never seen a 3D movie before in my life. So it was kind of like a birthday present for me, and two friends got taken to go and see this film. And I loved it. It was just utterly beautiful, but blatantly complete rip-off of Star Wars. But there's some really adult moments in it and stuff. But this film, if you haven't never seen it, I strongly suggest watching it. You could probably find it easily anywhere online. It was called Star Chaser: The Legend of Orin. Okay.
Oh,
I've seen it.
Yeah. And
cartoon back in the day, yeah.
It was, yeah. To this day, I love it so much. Even though I know it's a blatant Star Wars ripoff, it is just, I love it. It's just wonderful, wonderful film. Just brilliant animation, designs, action, everything in it is just spot on.
I remember they tried to push that back in the day. I remember.
Yeah. But it is a guilty pleasure though, because I know how derivative it is. But that's probably the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
PCAT in the chat confirms Point Blank Marvin movie.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, I think Mel Gibson remade it. He remade it. So basically, it was about Lee Marvin. He's a hitman. He does a job, and they don't pay him.
Well done,
so all he wants is his money. That's basically what the plot was. And I think Mel Gibson did a version as well. I think.
Yeah, in the chat, Kroll, Birab, Star Chaser. Yeah, spot on, mate.
I know he would.
Yeah,
any sci-fi with the title "Star" in it is a rip-off.
Yeah.
Of Star Wars.
Yeah. No, speaking of on the
the stars, that wasn't a rip-off.
Yeah, that was all right.
Like on the flip side of all that, disappointing movies that you thought were going to be great. I'll tell you, you bring up Masters of the Universe, man. I was a He-Man fanatic as a kid.
Yeah.
And oh my God, there's a live-action movie. I was frothing at the mouth as like an 8-year-old.
That did.
And then it was just Courtney Cox and Dolph Lundgren and God knows what of a as you guys say, dog's breakfast of a movie. It was just cringeworthy. Even as an 8-year-old, I'm sitting there going, I just want to tear out my eyeballs and turn them back to sender. But so disappointing. There was so much they could have done with that, because it really was a good series and a good story. But
well, it was a good idea to actually make the movie, but when they didn't have Cringer and the other character that they didn't do because they couldn't do it. Yeah,
Orko.
you know, you
Right.
kind of you knew you were gonna give
could
it.
have got,
give a different
well, it was
version.
almost like-
they could have got Warwick Davis to play
They
him.
got Billy Barty to play.
They did, yeah.
To play the little midget guy.
Yeah.
That
Wildor.
was like Grislaw. Was it Grislaw?
Wildor.
No. Wildor.
Wildor.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. I actually had the action figure of that one.
Oh my God.
Pete
Yeah,
Cat
it-
in the chat. Sorry, Commander. Pete Cat in the chat. 2 movies I saw in theatres I had highest hopes for and was most disappointed in: Godfather 3,
Yes.
Hannibal.
Yeah, no, I agree. Totally agree with that. Totally agree with that.
Go on, Commander.
I like Ready Player One,
No, no,
Yahtzee. I'm
done.
sorry, I do.
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
like
Talk
Ready
about
Player
that.
One. Except for the Shining bit, I actually like it.
I will say Ready Player One was not bad.
And that fat lady that was
Spielberg.
pretending to be a bloke, and you're like, oh yeah, you can tell it's gonna end up being some sort of weird hybrid person behind that. So yeah.
A lot of
Other than that, it was good.
was shot in Birmingham, wasn't it? Mega Geek.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Was it?
the scenes where the I think it's where his den is, the streets, which is supposed to be America. That was shot around Birmingham, because I
can believe
recognise the streets from my
I
old raving
recognise
days.
the bridge in Guardians of the Galaxy. That's the one in London. You know, the bridge when they were being attacked at the end in the planet, and you see those people run on the bridge. That's one of the famous bridges. I think it swayed when they first built it. It was swaying in the wind.
Is that before or after he
Cheers,
does the
MC.
dance?
What's that?
Was that before or
Sorry.
after he does the dance?
No, it was before.
Okay, that was just stupid.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I did like that film.
I'm not
though.
a fan of. I'm not a fan of Guardians. No,
No, not at all.
That humor just doesn't. No.
Doesn't work for you. Oh, okay.
First one was good.
I like the first one. Like it a lot.
No, I actually like the second one better, but the first one, no, I didn't. Although there's a lot of sitting around in the second one. So.
I will say we are being graced with royalty.
Mary
The Queen of the Red.
Hello, Mary.
No.
Hail,
Hello.
Mary Ashmead.
Hi, Mary.
Queen Mary. Hail.
Mary.
Thanks for popping in, my dear. Thank you.
Should I ask if she's single?
What was the question again about?
Mary?
What was it? The worst film?
Mary, are you single? Is the question.
Oh.
Sorry, Commander.
No. My question was
Yeah.
that the movie that you expected the most out of, but were most disappointed
That
by.
was it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think. Oh God, there's loads. I mean, the last 3 Star Wars films. Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
But
They
did
were
you really
terrible.
expect a lot
I
out
was
of them?
surprised
I mean,
by Force Awakens.
The first one, yeah, the Force Awakens. I was expecting a.
The
crap
first
load
one
of
had
good stuff.
so much. The first one had so much potential.
Yeah,
I'll agree with that.
I just pissed it in the wind, mate.
Speaking of
Yep.
pissing in the wind, on Tuesday evening, we've got the guy responsible for the chief pisser in the window. Ruin Johnson's coming on Tuesday night.
Brownhead.
Yeah, the man baby's coming on. He's going to be talking about his new Star Wars trilogy, how that's going. He's going to be talking about his remaining 2 Knives Out films and how that's going to go. And more importantly, he's going to be talking about The Mandalorian. So if you're into the man baby himself, Tuesday evening.
I have. Yeah.
Thank you.
I know you're doing
Tuesday evening, I think we're going to do it about 8:30 p.m. British summertime. So if you're into your Ruin Johnson, Star Wars, Last Jedi stuff,
And I heard,
You're in.
I've heard that Grogu is going to be in a baby racket. So watch out for that one.
Oh, you know what, Commander? The film that I was most disappointed was Star Wars 1: Phantom Menace. I thought that was most of the film was dull, in my opinion.
Oh, that was terrible. Yeah. I remember coming. That's the only time, Ian. The only time that I've actually walked out of a film and felt numb.
Oh wow!
I took half a day off school. I was in college at the time, and I literally said, "I'm not feeling very well. I'm going home," and I went straight to the cinema to watch Phantom Menace. and I walked out there, and I'm like, I'm confused. I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel about this. I just don't. And it's the only time I'm like, that wasn't. I had all the books, all the making of books. I was so hyped for that film.
You were so let down, weren't you?
I had the book. I even had the book on the storyboards of all the storyboards. Wow. So, and I didn't even read it because I
was exactly the same.
And I was just like, and I was just so wanting to, because I mean the artwork is amazing. Like Chan's work is just amazing, but other than that, I'm watching this film and I'm going, I should like this film. I should. Why don't I like this film? It's because it's shit. But how could Lucas fuck it? How could Lucas fuck it up so badly? You know? And I was just like, and I was like, I was bored shitless.
If I'm,
it was just bad.
Sorry. If I may, Matt, sorry. Brian Young in the chat. Happy 100, lads. In fact, Brian, do you want to come on? Do you want to come on Tuesday night with the Man Baby?
Yes.
There's going to be a slot. There's going to be a slot because I won't be here.
Brian, if you want to come on, you're more than welcome, my friend. Tuesday evening, 8:30-ish. Yeah. So if you want to come on with the Man Baby himself, we could really get down and dirty with Star Wars. Moving on.
I mean, Commander, I do remember when Jurassic Park came out. I remember just getting everything I could on that film and amazed on how, because I saw the behind the scenes stuff as well when I got the DVD. I was amazed on a lot of that stuff was practical effects that they did. You know, the bit where the two raptors, when they're in the kitchen, the bit where the legs are walking, that was a guy in the leg suit. You know what I mean? I thought that was, and I thought it was, computer graphics, but it wasn't. It was a guy that had his legs in there and he was moving
with the claws. Yeah. The claws.
Wasn't it it was the Stan Winston workshop, wasn't it?
I think so. But when you think about it,
half and half.
But that's the reason why it still the effects still hold up today, because half of that stuff was practical, like the bit where the Tyrannosaurus's head is hitting the van or whatever it is, and then the head moves out, and then when it walks towards the other car, it's CGI. So they did a little sort of camera trick with that, didn't they? So that's why it looks so good. That's what I'm saying. Today's stuff.
It looked amazing, and the thing is, we have to remember what this was 1993, something like that. No one had ever seen anything like that. It was absolutely unbelievable. Like I said, every dinosaur that had ever been seen before was on, claymation, basically stop action animation, which was, okay. And it was getting even better. They had some good stuff on, public TV and whatnot, but like this was real life. Like these things looked like they were really actually there. And it just, the scene in the movie where the characters see the dinosaurs for the first time, and they're sitting there staring at the Brachiosaurus as it's eating. Like I remember being in the theater just having goosebumps, having the same reaction as the characters on the screen would have had. That's good cinema right there, where you have the same feeling, not just of like being scared or shocked or whatever, or sad, but like of awe. Like if you as a viewer can have the same sense of awe that the person on the screen is supposed to be having, it's like, wow. It was just it had it all. It really had it all. Whereas Phantom Menace had nothing.
Yeah, exactly. But they even went as far as to figure out how they would move. Like the raptors, they figure out they would move like birds. So Ray Harryhausen, who he did fantastic work with animation and stuff like. He didn't do that. He just moved it the way he thought they'd move. But the production team at it was doing Jurassic Park that actually investigated and found out. Okay, so if they've got a bone like this, that's kind of like a bird. So maybe it'd be moving. Do you know what I mean? They went that far. That's why it's
can I just say? Sorry.
Yes.
You're going to.
I'm just going to go. It's sort of off and on topic. Okay. Mars Attacks is like one of my most guiltiest pleasure movies ever, because I didn't actually say what my guilty pleasure was. But that was originally supposed to be stop motion. And they did the tests, and I went to the Tim Burton exhibition, and I was blown away by the tests that they had for the Martians in stop motion, because they were going to do it like a Ray Harryhausen movie, and it just looked phenomenal. But I mean, even the CGI now, it still looks good. I really think it would have been fantastic to have it. I
will just say, MC in the chat says Ray Harryhausen is a legend. I will briefly say, going back to Clash of the Titans, where he did all the stop motion stuff, and I think it was Jason and the Argonauts.
He did. Jason and Argonauts did bad movies.
There's a
Oh my
there's
God.
a channel. There's a channel on YouTube which he's processed the stop motion film, and I think he's increased the frame rate.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. So it doesn't look too jerky.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Sorry, guys, I'm going to turn my camera on.
Oh no, don't!
No, you kill the stream. You're going to kill it. No.
You're going to show us something, Matt. You're going to show us something.
Yeah,
Matt?
I am. Yeah. It's
not his knob.
Yeah.
Go on, then, Matt.
I don't know. Oops, I don't know.
It's all dark, pal.
Okay.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Hang on. Bad light.
I've seen it.
Can you see?
Ray Harryhausen.
No,
can't see it, mate.
When you point a camera into the sun,
there you go. There you go. Wow.
There we go.
Oh, Gulliver's Travels as well. I forgot he did that.
Oh yeah.
Right, and Blu-ray as well. Bloody hell, Matt. Well done.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Sorry.
MC
says, I love Valley of the...
they used to be on BBC One all the time. Yeah. Valley of Gwangi. Brilliant, yeah.
That's the one with the Triceratops?
Yes. The Triceratops and the Tyrannosaurus Rex, when the cowboys are trying to throw their ropes over it. That's a great scene.
Is it the Land That Time Forgot? Is that the one with the really bad, like, giant sea monster that comes out of the water?
Doug McClure.
There was like 2 sequels to that. I didn't know.
Doomcock loves
Land at Time Forgot, At the Earth's Core, and I can't remember the third one.
Oh man, it's been so long since I've seen those. I want to go and watch them all again.
They're really bad. They are really, really bad. But like, I mean, they're enjoyable, but they're bad. They're like, there's like a monkey character, and like he gets taken. And like he's like the children's endearing character, and then he gets taken away and eaten by a pterodactyl, and it's the funniest thing ever. Like he's just like,
MC says, gone. Cowboys and dinosaurs.
That was Valley of Gwangi. Cowboys and Dinosaurs, Valley of Gwangi. I remember seeing that on the BBC One and loving it.
When you're saying that, I'm thinking of Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
Oh, Cadillacs and dinosaurs.
Semi-clad women in that.
That was 100 years BC. He did the effects for that as well, Ray Harryhausen, with Raquel Welch. Raquel Welch was gorgeous when she was young.
Oh, wow. Yes, she was.
There was no word spoken in that film, just grunts and all that. So.
Like this stream.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, as I said, you can tell I'm an old fart because I love Ray Harryhausen and I love all those films that you mentioned. And I also remember the Sinbad movies. Do you remember the Sinbad movies where it was
the skeletons and
Golden Voyage, and then there was
Hey, it had Tom Baker in it.
Yes,
one of them had
Golden
Tom
Void.
Baker in it.
Yeah. But you see, that was before Star Wars and all that stuff. That's as kids you gravitated towards films like that, you know.
Yeah, and
one of my favorite ones
practically every week.
Sorry?
One of my favorite ones was when they had Chewbacca dressed as a Minotaur.
Oh yes, that was Eye of the Tiger, Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. Yeah. Great
MC
film.
says there's a box set of the Doug McClure movies, including Warlords of Atlantis.
That's the last one, Warlords of Atlantis. It was Land of Time Forgot, At the Earth's Core, and Warlords of Atlantis, I think.
He died tragically too.
Yeah. Great films. I'm telling you.
I think he died of leukemia or something.
Yeah, well. You know, in talking about CGI, it's tragic about, you know, when they didn't remake it, but they did the prequel to The Thing. They all decided to go practical effects, didn't they? And they did all these practical effects, and they look good, but the studio decided
they did it with
CGI to plaster it all over with CGI, and if the effects guy were really pissed off,
killed it.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
they did it with Evil Dead was practical effects. The remake of Evil Dead, that was practical.
Yeah, there's something about as I was saying before, I was watching Godzilla versus King Kong on TV. Of course, you can't go to cinema. But it's all right. It's a put your brain in the foyer kind of film, right? It's okay, but the CGI takes you away from it. It doesn't. You don't get immersed in it because you know it's all CGI. That's the thing.
But I didn't
get past Bobby Brown.
You didn't get past Bobby Brown.
No relation.
Don't mention her. She's terrible.
I think
she's even terrible to her friends. Sorry.
No. I was thinking, you know, talking about practical effects versus CGI and taking it out, and I think that was, I mean, there was a lot of problems with Phantom Menace, but one of the biggest ones for me was there was so much CGI, and you can see, you know, Liam Neeson is staring off in the middle distance, and he's supposed to be talking to Jar Jar Binks, who's floating around, you know, outside of the thing, and it's like, why not just put somebody in a costume or something? You know, like that was one of the great things with the original Star Wars, is that it was all real. It was all there, you know, even if the aliens kind of looked a little stodgy or whatever, you could see past that. But
you know who I feel sorry for? It's the people that had tattoos of Jar Jar Binks made before they saw the film.
Jesus.
I don't feel sorry for people like that. They deserve everything they get.
Didn't somebody in the UK, this bloke, have a full body tattoo of Dumbledore out of Harry Potter?
I don't know.
And then he came out as gay, didn't he? The character.
Oh.
But that's what I'm saying. You know, I agree with Commander. I mean, you look at some of the effects today, it just takes you out of it because you know it's CGI. But in the old days, when you look at Star Wars and he comes out of his little pod thing and he looks up at the two suns in the sky, there's something about that scene that you're immersed into it. You feel his pain. You feel what he wants adventure. He wants out, and the whole setting actually makes you immerse into it. As I said, when you're watching a CGI thing like Ready Player One, there's a barrier that you can't enter into that world because you know that stuff that you're watching is not real at all. You know, so it's really hard to connect to CGI stuff these days unless it's done really well. You know,
in the chat, US Dutch Kitty, JK outed Dumbledore after the books were done.
What's that, mate? What's that? What you got there? Harryhausen.
Harryhausen, The Lost Movies.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Keith put me onto this one. Keith put me onto this book. Yeah, because he's friends with the author. He's the author he's John Walsh. But cool. This was released just after his death.
Commander, that's the same typeface I use for your logo.
Is it? See, I was thinking it was the same type. It looked like the same typeface as Jurassic Park, which that's why I have a soft spot for it. So I like it.
What did you think of Commander? What do you think of the second Jurassic
movies in there too.
The second, the Lost World Jurassic Park film was a complete fiasco. It was an embarrassing disaster. The book was amazing, but it was sort of written under sort of a not a duress, but kind of like a forced contract. But it was still good because Michael Crichton's a master, but the movie was just a joke. That was another very disappointing one. I went into that one thinking this is going to be awesome, and it was a joke.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense, did it? You know, why would you go back? And I mean, also the fact that I mean, at its moments, the bit with the cracking glass was quite tense, wasn't it? Do you remember in the trailer car thing, and the bit where they're in the long straw bit where all the raptors are going after, and I thought that was quite good. But the rest of it was just kind of, well, why? There was no need for this movie at all, you know?
Right. Well, and it had great special effects. It had the great computer, graphics, even better, maybe even than the first one. But that just shows you that computer graphics do not make a movie, no matter how spectacular they are. You know, if it's just written like garbage, or if it doesn't make sense internally, you've got a flop, on your hands. And I don't know why they would do that. It's like, if you could make a great movie, but you decide not to. This is the thing that I never get. That Disney did this with Star Wars. The Star Trek movies continually did this. The Next Generation Star Trek movies, they did this with all the Jurassic Park sequels, and it's just like, I do not understand. I don't understand, and it's very frustrating.
I'll tell you reason why that happens, right? And this is just one reason why. It's because they have a quota to fill and they have a tax return, so they have to get a movie out before a certain date. So when they say to Spielberg, we want Jurassic Park 2, but it has to come out on this date because of the tax return, then the script suffers because they have to rush it. And then once they rush it, the script isn't good and they're making up on the set. It'll either go one way or the other. Either go bad making up on the set or good making up on the set. Like Iron Man, when they made up on the set, it turned out to be really good. Jurassic Park 2, they made bits of it up on the set and it turned out to be really bad. So, it could be because of that, really. I don't know. It's 101 reasons. Yeah, it
could be, and the overall effect, though, of that, like MC says, money, being the bottom line, is that you have where we're at now, where everyone is ambivalent about Hollywood, and, Hollywood is complete garbage. Nobody watches the Oscars. Nobody wants to go to the movie theaters, even when they reopen. And it's just, they've burned every last bridge and destroyed every bit of goodwill that we would have, where before it was a form of entertainment and escapism and joining into a larger mythology, and now it's just a chore almost to watch a lot of these movies, and in some cases it's insulting to the intelligence, and we're at that point, I think, now. I don't know. Independent films, maybe that's where we're going, Mega Geek, because the Hollywood formula, that formula of saying, well, we've got to have something cranked out because X, Y, and Z in the contract is just, it's a failure. Nobody wants to see that anymore. Why would somebody want to watch that?
But you know what, right? It's inevitable that they're going to invade the popular hangouts, like, for instance, YouTube, live streams and stuff like that. That sooner or later, Hollywood and the big wigs and whoever's in charge, because we don't know whoever's in charge, is going to invade YouTube, and we're all going to be just viewers.
I'm waiting for the first YouTube movie, like live stream movie. Remember how they did Blair Witch Project, and it was the first shaky cam, big thing, and it changed the way that, and they're going to do something like that with live stream, and I've thought about that. I'm like, well, it could be good, because back, you go all the way back to the origins of drama with the Greek theaters and improvisation and stuff, and it could be really good. But then it also could be complete and utter garbage, and just even Hollywood's handling of everything. I'm leaning towards complete and utter garbage, which is sad, because I need to be entertained just as much as everyone else.
No, I agree. I totally agree. It's like the independent sector. When Hollywood realized that independent films were making a lot of money, they decided to monopolize it, and they did. They monopolized it. Fox, Searchlight, but it's still Hollywood. You know what I mean? So it's all those things.
Disney Searchlight now.
Yeah, it's all bollocks, really. It's once you become part of that world, it's not an independent film. How can you call it independent film? But they just call it independent film, so people would go, "Oh, it's an independent film. I want to go and see it." But really, it's controlled by the studios, you know. So there you go.
Right.
Didn't you try to get into Hollywood once?
I tried, of course, like every filmmaker. Yeah,
we both did.
Yeah. But,
I almost. I'm like Ian. I almost did.
Same, yeah. So, but the thing is, though, you know, I'm not bitter about it. Damn it.
No. Yeah, no, shit happens. You know.
Yeah, exactly. So, but maybe I dodged the bullet
control
there.
outside sources. Yeah, well, that's it too, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? But,
you know,
I might be dead if I did make it. You know, I might have been drugged up or something, or I don't know. You know. Maybe in jail for touching someone badly or something like that. You know, you never know. It you know. Anyway, look, things happen for a reason, and if I did make it to Hollywood, I wouldn't be talking to you guys. So there you go.
Oh, we're honoured. We're honoured.
Oh, right. Okay, yep. Gotcha.
We're not good enough for you.
With the riffraff.
Oh dear.
You heard it first, folks, in the chat. We are the riffraff. Cheers, Mega Geek.
No, but but the thing is, though, as I said, you know, it was a time when I wanted to be part of Hollywood, but thank God for certain things that happen in the world, and you can see it for what it is now, you know, so that's a good thing rather than them still hiding, you know. I mean, Harvey Weinstein, you know, geez, I used to think he was great at one point, and now the truth's come out.
Fallen.
Can I just ask a question? Swap Shop, are you there?
Yes,
no,
I
he
am.
nodded off hours ago.
Okay. I don't want you to fall on the floor or anything, okay? But I actually know the in-between artist for Star Chaser.
Fuck off. I
mean, yeah. I actually have chatted to him a few times, and when you brought that movie up, I'm like, that's why I've been quiet. I'm like, I'm thinking about Star Chaser. I'm like, I've heard of that one before. He used to work for Filmation with Shearer and that, and like he did Star Chaser as well. He was the in-between artist for that because I remember him posting some stuff for it and saying how much of a flop it was.
Could you make him on? Could you get him on?
Yeah, I could.
Who's the guy that used to do the animation for the Pink Panther movies in the beginning? I knew him.
Do you mean Fritz Freelong?
No, he's the guy he did Roger Rabbit as well. What's his name? I knew him.
Yes, I know.
He's gone now,
Robert.
And he was doing the Thief and the Cobbler was his latest one, and it was well before
that went on for years. That went
computer
on for
animation.
Years.
And I remember because I used to work as a graphics artist next to his studio. I remember
he created Jessica Rabbit.
Williams.
Richard Williams, and they were taking all his stuff because he was in debt. I remember people, these people coming into his office and taking things and stuff like that. He was still in there drawing stuff till the last moment when they took everything. So I remember lunch. I was talking to him at lunch, and he was really distraught, and he was saying, this is if I can only find someone to finance The Thief and the Cobbler, it's going to be an amazing film. And he showed me this thing that he did with thousands of he drew this thing, right, where it had thousands. It was like an army, and he drew every person in the army, right, and you could see them clearly, and it was detailed, incredibly detailed, and he was animating it, and that's why it was taking so long. That's why he lost the film, because he took too long, because he wanted.
Well, he was having to do it himself, He just wanted to do it all himself because it was a passion project.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking. He was heartbroken.
I mean, he had Ian. He had Vincent Price as one of the voices. Yeah, and Vincent Price passed away, and he was still going with it. You know.
Yeah.
And that was a very sad thing that happened to him.
He showed me his Oscar as well.
But he'll always be remembered as the person that invented Jessica Rabbit.
Yep.
Always.
And the Pink Panther movies. He used to do the animation in the beginning for the Pink Panther movies as well. So.
Yeah, but Pink Panther didn't have any boobs.
Matthew.
And a nice booty. I have to put that in every one now. Every single
I did like Roger Rabbit. I thought that was a pretty cool movie till you.
So-
What, you mean like that?
No, I thought it was. I thought it was clever because if toons were real, you know what I mean. They're pretty scary though, because if they were real, they could literally kill. They could jump from a building and be fine, but they can kill you. Do you know what I mean? That's the scary part. Do you know?
Mhm.
So yeah, I thought it was a very clever movie personally. But there you go.
I have been watching Ulysses 31 this week. I think
I
I'm,
have.
I'm
Nice.
up to episode 14.
Whoa, good job.
I've got to watch it. I've been watching
pretty-
Starsky and Hutch today.
I
pretty
just
good.
don't have the time for it right now. Just don't have time for anything right now. It's
Oh,
terrible.
come on. It's only half-an-hour episodes. Come on, you can do it.
About
Yeah.
22 minutes. 22, 23.
Yeah, less than
Good.
that.
Lots
Yeah.
of Star Wars nods in there as well.
There are. Yeah, there are, definitely.
Star Wars.
Massive, yeah, lots of little homages to Star Wars. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
The laser
Yeah.
swords. Yeah.
Laser swords, lightsaber.
Some of the music is ripped off as well.
Not as bad as Star Crash,
is.
though. Star Crash is the biggest and most famous rip-off of Star Wars of all time.
Mhm.
And that film was awful. It was obvious they were ripping off Star Wars. But there you go, you know.
Is
It's
that the-
famous for that.
Italian film.
Yeah, it's the Italian one.
Yeah, Robert Meyer. We said this before. Robert Meyer Burnett loves that film.
Yeah. I don't know.
Was that
What?
supposed to mean anything? The cough?
No. I don't know. As I said, right, you know, if it wasn't for films, I don't think I'd know what you know. I think films played a big part in my life. Films and music and stuff. I'm really surprised when people don't like films or don't like music or think music is just, you know, something that they just listen to from time to time. Do you know what I mean? I just can't understand it personally, why people are not into films, but you know.
MC in the chat, we've mentioned this before. We discussed Caroline Munro at length, didn't we?
Mm. Yeah, she's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Well, I guess she still is, I guess. You know. Oh, so let's ask another question. Who was your crush when you were young? Movie crush.
Jennifer Connelly. Jennifer Connelly.
Okay.
Jennifer Connelly. Sorry, ever since Labyrinth. And then as soon as Rocketeer, oh my God, she bloomed.
Mhm.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, fuck.
Anyone else?
Connelly.
Jennifer Love Hewitt was pretty hot back in the day.
Yeah, she was.
She was just like, oh.
What about I Know What You Did Last
She
Summer?
can, she can whisper me anytime.
I Know What You Did Last Summer. She used to wear those tight tops in that film. It was like, phew, but there you go. But I think mine was Lindsay Wagner when I was a kid. Bionic Woman.
Jesus.
And Wonder Woman, Linda Carter. Those two.
You would have thought if she was going to get all those enhancements, she would have got some boob enhancements.
Who's that?
Oh, Pot.
Bionic Woman.
Oh, dear.
Did you ever see? Hey, Ian, they did this game, right? Called, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of the game. It's really recent, right? This guy, he's a fairly well-known director as in games, and I never actually played the game, but he was a huge fan of Lindsay Wagner.
Yeah.
And Sony threw all this money at him, and so he said, "I want Lindsay Wagner as an actress in my game." And they said, "Well, she's a bit old." But he said, well, she's going to be CGI, and he actually made it so she was a lot younger, like when she was back in the day. And I'll try and remember the name of the game, but she's actually in the game. Yeah, that's it. You're right. Yep, Death Stranding. And you need to look that up, Ian.
I will,
because you'd be amazed what she looks like. You know, when they've CGI'd her, but she's like, it's entirely CGI. It's not like, you know, a manipulation or anything. But
in the chat, MC says Neve Campbell. Yeah,
she's lovely.
Kate Beckinsale. Yes. Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock.
Kim Basinger.
Kim Basinger. Yeah.
That's all of it.
Peacat says Linda Carter.
Yeah, Linda Carter's gorgeous, man. What can I say?
And the wonderful US Dutch Kitty says
toxic males.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah.
In fact, US Dutch Kitty, do you are there any people who float your boat, as it were? So yeah, let us know in the chat.
Somebody who hasn't been mentioned yet was Sarah Michelle Gellar. She floated my boat when in the 90s. Yeah.
Nah, she's got a funny nose.
Yeah, nobody's perfect, right?
I think it's a Jewish nose.
Jennifer Connelly was.
Jennifer Connelly was absolutely my number one crush, all the way exactly like you said, straight through Labyrinth, all the way into Rocketeer, and I was like, oh my gosh, this girl's gorgeous.
Oh, it was right up to Dark City, which is another guilty pleasure, by the way.
Dark City,
I think, is a fantastic.
Peacat says
it's very underrated.
Shoe.
It is.
She's still got it. Until she had her face lasered off. But there you go.
Yeah. Mine was Phoebe Cates.
Oh, she was gorgeous.
Gremlins.
Yeah. Phoebe.
Yep. And Gremlins too as well. Yeah, amazing.
And Drop Dead Fred as well.
Yeah.
She was in. Yeah, she's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I mean, there were some really stunners when I was, growing up and watching films and stuff like. I really did like oh god, I forgot her name now. The girl in Raiders Lost Ark. What was her name? Karen Allen. Karen Allen was cute.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going a little bit left field here.
Spielberg's missus was pretty fit as well.
I'm going a little left field here and saying Barbara Crampton.
Oh,
she is.
Oh, yes.
What's she been in?
She was in a movie called Reanimator
and From Beyond.
From Beyond, and she's been she does a lot of schlock horror, but like she as a blonde, she was gorgeous, and especially since she was blonde everywhere, wasn't she? Stop. She was blonde everywhere.
Stop.
If you've never seen Reanimator, definitely check it out. It's probably one of her more revealing movies, but she's just released a new film actually, and it's doing really well. And it's she plays a female vampire called Jacob's Wife, and she's a preacher's wife who gets bitten by a vampire, and he's trying to cover up for her that she's actually a vampire now.
US Dutch Kitty likes Mr. Darcy, obviously.
Yeah, Colin Firth. A lot of girls like him.
But he's so old. He's so old.
Selma Hayek.
Oh, she's gorgeous as well.
Still got it. Amazing in Desperado.
Have you seen the trailer? The Bodyguard. Bodyguard. Was it The Bodyguard 2 with Samuel L. Jackson? Because they did not The Bodyguard.
Hitman.
The Bodyguard.
Hitman. Yeah, Hitman. Have you seen the trailer for it? That Salma Hayek is basically shooting people and kicking people. Talk about the feminine agenda, for God's sakes. First one was about two men. Now it's all about the woman.
Is she in a snake costume?
I'd take it from her, though.
I'm just thinking of her in from what was it, that Tarantino film she was in that she revealed herself?
Dusk Till Dawn.
Death to that was when she came out of there. Far out. Oh.
She even died sexily, didn't she? When the thing went through her. She was like she was having an orgasm when she was dying. It was crazy. But yeah, she's gorgeous.
I need to rewatch that film. Film goes from one way to another. It's really weird. Yeah.
It goes thriller and then it goes horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got, what's his face in? Danny, who's in every film of that type.
Danny, what's his name?
Danny Trejo? Danny
Trejo.
That
big Mexican geezer.
Yeah.
You mean Machete?
Yes, him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Danny Trejo.
Yeah. I mean, there was loads of gorgeous girls. I mean, Kim Basinger, I didn't really like her at all. I thought she was pretty blonde and stuff.
Very plain. She was plain.
I did like Sigourney Weaver, though. I thought Sigourney Weaver was gorgeous.
You know what? She was in the original Batman movie, right? Kim Basinger.
Yeah.
But she wasn't supposed to be in the role.
Who was
Do you know
going to
who
be?
was?
Oh, the girl from Blade Runner.
Sean Young.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean Young. And she broke her arm or broke a leg or something. And because of that role, they made her ride a horse for the role in Batman, right? So whether or not they meant for her to fall off or what, I don't know. But she broke her arm or whatever, and they said, no, we don't want you. And so... yeah, well, that's what she said.
Yeah, go on in.
Indeed. US Dutch Kitty in the chat. Travolta or Nick Cage didn't do it for me. But nowadays, Jason Momoa.
Yeah, he's the guy.
First saw him in Stargate. Yeah, I saw him in Stargate. Great in Stargate, Atlantis. She's got a crush on Paul McGann.
Ah, Paul McGann, eh? Bloody hell.
Yeah, okay.
The older British.
60-year-old Paul McGann.
The first doctor to kiss a girl.
Paul McGann. I sort of went off Paul McGann when he had a relationship with that girl from Britain's Got Talent.
Oh, did he?
It was in as well.
The one that's always been on Britain's Got Talent as one of the judges. He had a big relationship with her, and he was married at the time.
Amanda Holden.
That's her.
What?
And yes, you weren't aware of this, and it literally blacklisted her for a long time because she'd had this relationship with him.
Wow, crazy.
Yep.
Absolutely crazy.
Peacock says
Kathleen Turner. Oh my God, she was gorgeous when she was in those films. Romancing the Stone.
It's amazing what.
Not 80, now.
It's amazing what 80 cigarettes does for you a day. Yeah.
And what for the breakout film for her was it Heat? What was it called? Something Heat, where it was her and William Hurt.
You know what I liked her in most? You know what I liked her in most was that one that she did with Steve Martin, The Man with Two Brains.
Oh, The Man with Two Brains. Yeah, it's very funny.
When Steve Martin was funny.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, there was some, as I said, Sigourney Weaver looked great in Ghostbusters. It's the first time I saw her legs in Ghostbusters.
Yes.
And Galaxy Quest.
She looked great in Galaxy Quest. Yeah,
yeah, she did. Yeah,
I was surprised.
When she's getting undressed in to get in that space
today.
suit in Alien, bloody hell! Oh, what a body!
People were moaning they were feeling sick, and Matt was in the background going, "Oh, yeah," in the cinema. Yeah, oh, I thought he was feeling sick as well.
She healed my wounds.
He was getting a alien chest burster in his underpants. We'll leave it at that.
I tell you what, I was looking at her with her underpants on, and I was like, bloody hell, those underpants are small. They're tiny.
But that's the thing in those days. I mean, Ridley Scott, I think it was her idea to do it, wasn't it? She said, she was all sweaty and stuff was running around, and said the first thing you would do is you'd strip off, wouldn't you, if you feel that you were safe? And that was her idea. It wasn't Ridley Scott's idea at all, apparently. So it was down to her. So there you go.
Is she a replicant though?
No. No. But she is a clone now, because in the last Alien film, she was a clone, wasn't she?
No.
So kind of.
By a fingernail. They never even explained it, but
no, they didn't.
They kept her DNA on file.
Alison
would have been
Doody.
cool.
What do people think of Alison Doody? She was the last blonde girl in the last Indiana Jones.
I loved her
movie.
in that. Yeah,
Oh yeah, she was all right.
Yeah.
US Dutch Kitty. I love this. Have y'all ever seen young Paul McGann in Rainbow?
No. Oh, not.
Yeah.
I mean,
I met Paul McGann.
Very American. Hey y'all.
He's sort of like this is when he was doing the Doctor Who stuff. Like afterwards, like it was like he was a bit bitter. You can tell he's a bit bitter about having to do cons.
Just for one episode, effectively.
Yeah, but not only that, but now that his career is pretty much not ended, but just, it's stagnated. I think he's just slightly bitter.
No. Now he's embracing that because he has no choice. He has to, has to make money.
Yeah,
so
that's it.
Yeah.
He's doing it with a bit of chagrin.
Yeah.
He's just like, well, this is the only way I can go down now. My only path. It's like that woman that was in the role of his sidekick in the movie, the TV movie.
Yes.
All she does now is cons, and but she just makes so much money off it, off that one thing. But obviously it's just the money.
Yeah, it's some actors go that way, don't they? It's a shame, really, because some of them are really talented and they just didn't get the break from their first break. It does happen, So.
Oh yeah, no,
it's not good.
Very, very often. Does.
Yeah.
I mean, the same with Sean Young. Sean Young is you can tell she's really bitter. She is really, really bitter. She's a nice lady when you get on her good side. But yeah, you can tell she's really bitter about the whole Batman thing, and that they wouldn't give her another chance because she tried to go for the role of Catwoman.
Do you know what I don't understand, guys, is that if I was in that situation and I was an actor and I'd been in one famous thing and then my career had slowed down, I would try and seek out independent filmmakers and read their scripts and offer my services because they'll be helping me. And they'll be helping me and I'll be helping them.
Right. Okay.
And that's what she does.
Do you know what I mean?
She does these Star Trek, fan films and all those sort of things. I mean, she's done some not fan films, but she's done some independent films for my friend.
Yeah.
And they've become good friends out of it. And it's just one of those things. It's like the guy out of Highlander, the TV series.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be a fantastic James Bond. I always thought he'd be a fantastic.
He's Australian, isn't he?
No, he's English. He's English. The guy, the guy from Highlander,
Duncan MacLeod.
Yeah. He, I know there is only one. Yeah, right. I mean, he's doing a lot of independent films now because there's just nothing for him to do,
Dutch Kitty in the chat says, friends who have, I'm assuming this is McGann, friends who have met him even in recent years, he's very kind and loves hanging out with friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even got tipsy at a birthday party at a con. Yeah,
but
I saw him about 10 years ago.
When he did for you, and it didn't work out for him, he was very bitter. And same thing with Chris Eccleston as well. And now Chris Eccleston's embracing, he's
an asshole towards some fans because
he is.
Did you see that Q&A he did with Big Finish?
No.
Did you watch that? He was being asked questions, and this guy said, since you distance yourself from the role of the Doctor, and he said, that's your opinion. And I thought, you're a fucking asshole.
Gary's not a fan either.
No, and I just thought you're a real
I think he was
prick.
talking about him the other day.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Mega Geek, you should have asked Paul McGann to be the Doctor.
I met him once. I was on set. I was firsting on a pilot for a kids TV show, and he was in it. He's a nice, as far as I'm concerned, he was really nice. He didn't, he wasn't really rude to me or anything.
No, he wasn't rude or anything. I just think he's just a little bit when he's got to do conventions and that. I think just a little bit, it's like, I'm here.
But you know what though? A lot of people were telling me that he drinks too much. Well, especially when I was doing that pilot, but I didn't get the sense of that at all from him. I thought he was very professional.
Do you know who's a really great actor, and unfortunately he never got his due? Was Kevin Conroy.
What was he in again?
He is the voice of Batman.
Oh, of course.
From the animated series.
Yeah.
Yes, the original animated series. Right. And anyway, he does the voice of Batman in literally everything now. He is Batman.
I tell you what.
I met him. Sorry. I met him. Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Yep, you go.
Go on, Matt.
Oh no, I just met him. Right,
Yeah.
This is my story. I just met him right at a convention. He was there to plug a game, and when I met him, I just turned to him and I said, because he was just signing things, and he was like, "Yeah, okay, I'm signing Batman stuff all the time," and I turned to him and I said, "I saw you in a movie that was like it had." It was like in a building and that. And I told him the name of the movie. I can't remember it now. And his eyes just lit up. And he was like, "Oh my God, do you know that was the Dean Koontz' first film?" And he was like, because I said to him, I knew before I'd even seen Batman that you were a really good, you were a really good actor, and that, you'd make the part, And it was like, all of a sudden you'd brought up a part of his career he hadn't heard about before, and that he loved, as an actor, And I'll never ever forget that. And he's like, "Would you like a signed photo as well?" Because they were only doing one signature. And he said, "Would you like it?" And this woman who was on the offside, she was really pissed because she told me, she said, he will only sign one thing. And he turned to me and he said, "Would you like a signed photo?" Yeah. And I said, "Oh, yes, please." And
maybe appreciated what you said, Matt.
Yeah, well, that was my point, was just the fact that, sometimes when you bring up something from, that they love to do, besides, now he's just a voice actor, but back then he was actually full on acting, sorry, you continue now.
I can't remember what I was going to say, pal. I was listening to you.
That was a long ramble. That was.
Yeah. No, I tell you one thing, right? Though, so I haven't met a lot of actors, but I have met a few famous ones, and the one that always sticks in my mind when people talk about actors is Michael Ironside. I directed Michael Ironside in a slasher movie. And Michael Ironside, right? I was at a con once, right? And Michael Ironside was signing stuff, right? And so Alan and myself, Alan, who's my friend, he was the DLP on the film. Been friends for ages. Anyway, we saw him at the con, but he couldn't see us. And I said, "Maybe we should say hello, Alan." And Alan was like, "Well, we have to queue up." And so I was like, "Nah, we better not. We better just keep looking at the stuff." Anyway, as we walked away, he literally shouted at me. He said, "Ian," brilliant. Right? And we came down. And he went, "Where are you going?" And I said, "Well, you look busy." And he was like, No. We're going to go for a drink afterwards. You just bloody stand there and wait till I finish." 2 hours later, we were in the pub. So there you go. So you do have stars. You do have people that are really nice. Do you know what I mean? And that was years later. I mean, that was like 8 years later that I'd seen him. And now he's in Nobody. That film Nobody with Bob.
Is he?
Guy he's in that. He's putting a crap load of. He's in that though. So
he is a very well known voice actor. Yeah. And he does a character called Sam Fisher.
He does, yeah.
And in Splinter Cell, and John, is it Clancy? John Clancy?
John Clancy, yeah.
And he is well known for that now. But
that's what I'm saying. There are actors that do appreciate the love that they get from their fans, and then there are others that are bitter because they think they should have. I tell you, the tragedy is that Mark Hamill didn't make it as big as he should have done, because I remember meeting all the cast of Star Wars and he was the only one that was kind of nice to me. Do you know what I mean? And he had so much enthusiasm and he was so excited about being part of Star Wars, and and you go to Harrison Ford and Harrison Ford's like, "What's your name? Okay, do you want me to sign your book? All right, move along." Do you know what I mean? And he was just a waste of my time. Do you know what I mean? Mark Hamill.
Peacat in the chat. Michael Ironside, earliest memory, the final battle.
Yeah,
he was in that. Yes,
yeah, it was.
He was in Scanners.
He was. That's where he started.
Yeah, Scanners. Total Recall.
He was, and he
the
was
amazing
in
Starship Troopers.
He was
Heavy Metal 2000.
Yep, that's right. His last film is Nobody. He was in one of the X-Men films, the one directed by.
Could you not get him on here, Ian? Because I would kill.
I don't have his number. I don't have his number. I don't have his email. Nothing.
I am such a massive fan.
He's terrific. Absolutely. I can't say enough about Michael Ironside. The producer tried to scare me.
Highlander 2.
Yeah, the producer tried to scare me, right? Saying that, oh, he's really mean. You know, you got to be on your toes when you're directing him and stuff. And the guy turned up. He was the nicest person I'd ever met. Do you know what I mean? So there are actors out there that do appreciate what they've got and appreciate their fan base. You know, but there are other actors that are just arses.
MC in the chat, I was impressed that you had Michael Ironside and Jeff Fahey in your movie making.
Yeah. Let me tell you a little story about that, right? So both actors are very different. Okay, so Jeff Fahey would sit in the corner and evoke an emotion for a scene, and Michael Ironside would be mucking around with everybody on the set. And then one day there was a scene in it. There was a day where both of them were on set. Okay, so I went up to Michael Ironside and I said, "Do you know Jeff Fahey?" And he went, "Yeah, of course. We play golf all the time." And I was like, "Okay, so he's just sitting there in the corner. What's he doing?" And Michael Ironside said, "Don't worry about him. That's just his process. Just leave him alone. Give him a cup of tea. He'll be fine." So they're both different. So you know what I mean? That's why when I discovered that actors were very different from one another. You know, one of them has to be in the moment, and the other one just turns it on. Michael Ironside can literally, you know, once you go action, he's there in character. You know, so that was the first time I learned that all actors weren't the same. You know,
Rico, anyway. You know what to do.
Yeah. You ever get a chance to meet him? Tell him I said hello. That's what I can say. He's a nice guy. He really is terrific. Absolutely terrific.
Yeah, such a massive fan of Michael Ironside. My first memory was Scanners.
Yeah,
but I'm with PCAT more V. With his mate. He always acted with his mate, didn't he?
Yeah. He was in Karate Kid 3, would you believe? Michael Ironside. Yeah.
He was in Top Gun too, wasn't he?
He was.
Do we know, is he coming back for the second one? For the new
I don't know.
I'm sure I saw a video or something that he was asked, but he said, I think he said no. I'm sure.
I can't work out how Val Kilmer's going to be in it because he's got a thingy right in his throat.
Yeah. Plus, he's really overweight as well, isn't he?
Well, that was part of his problem, though. It wasn't the fact that he was overweight. He was pretty sick.
Yeah,
it's like a thyroid thing.
And I didn't like I didn't like the way that people were treating him because, you know, it was like, oh, can you believe I was once Batman, you know? And it's just, I just thought that was so wrong.
I tell you one thing, though.
It's like they had it, it's just that they had a go at that guy that played Black Panther.
Oh, yeah.
Just before he died.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, though, he really did look great in that Batman costume, didn't he? He probably looked the best out of all of them as Batman because he looked like the actual comic, didn't he? Because he had the right build and the costume was perfect on him, you know. And yeah, he really did look the part. I mean, he didn't look anything like Bruce Wayne because he had the different color hair, but Batman definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't look too shabby in Top Gun.
Yeah. A lot of people say that's a homoerotic movie.
It is.
They say.
The volleyball game.
The volleyball scene, yeah, that kind of thing. Meg Ryan was in that as well, wasn't she? Meg Ryan
as Goose's wife or girlfriend.
She played the goofy girl in the cafe.
Still gorgeous though. In those days.
Yeah,
really gorgeous.
In a space. Swap Shop, are you still with us?
I'm with you. I was just looking at Michael Ironside for you. See if I can find him online. So give him a shout.
Just if I got him on, if I got him on one of these, I don't think I better speak. I'm just such a massive
Michael Ironside, as I said, right?
A massive fan.
You got some actors, and you got some actors, but Michael Ironside, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the nicest people I've ever met in this stupid industry.
Just so cool.
Yeah, nice guy. I'll put the link to the film in the private chat here if I can find it. Where is it? It's here somewhere.
Which film? Your film?
Yeah, what Fallen Angels.
Remember, you're a moderator, so you can post in the chat.
Yeah, I guess I can do that. Of course. But I forgot. I forgot I was a moderator. Where's my videos? Anybody else want to talk about anything? I
was going to say, do we want to call it a draw, or shall we go for the 3?
Blimey, is it that late already? Jeez.
Yeah, I was yawning quite a bit about 20 minutes ago, but I think I've got my second wind.
I don't know what I mean. I said I love talking about movies, definitely.
Well, you've certainly done that tonight.
Yeah, films, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's films, isn't it?
How do we feel, guys? Do you want to call it a draw, or?
I don't want to end the stream or anything, but I probably need to be heading out.
Right. Okay. Right. I think maybe we should call it a draw at 2.5 hours.
But happy 100th. Mr. Brown.
Yeah, congratulations on that. That is quite a feat.
I know. I will just say we're only as good as the quality of the guests, and especially the wonderful peeps in the chat.
I apologise in that case.
We'll forgive you this once. I will just say, if US Dutch Kitty fancies coming on one of these one time, you are more than welcome. We really do need to get some ladies on the channel.
Oh yes. Too much toxic masculinity. We need to even it out a bit.
US Dutch Kitty, if you want to come on one of these and put us in our place, rein us in, you are more than welcome. If you go to my About page on YouTube, there will be the email link. So if you want to come on, you are more than welcome. Go on, Commander.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, the Mrs. Commander was getting all of her stuff set up earlier this week, and then she found out it was going to be an early morning stream, and she said, "You're going to have to take this one." But she's looking to get on as well, so we'll be bringing some female talent on board.
Well, when we do the next Nooner, or when we do a Nooner, definitely, because that's a better time for you, isn't it?
Yeah. It is. We'll make that work.
Okay. So I will just say then, everybody in the chat, genuinely, you've been on top form tonight. We've had a few new faces in, which is really, really great. We've been blessed with some Doomcock royalty as well. The wonderful US Dutch Kitty has made an appearance. As I said, you're more than welcome to come on. PCAT, MC, Tupac, Crew Albirab, the usual gang. So we thank you for popping on, spending time with us today. As I said, we're only as good as you guys, so we appreciate that. Swap Shop, thank you for coming on, my friend.
You're welcome. Good to chat to everyone here. It's been wonderful.
Thank you very much, sir.
He's still painting.
Are you still painting? I think he is, yes.
Mr. Slopping and squelching in the background. Yeah, that's pain.
Mr. Potts, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
quiet,
much,
Mr. Pot.
Yeah, I'm busting to go to the toilet, actually.
Full circle.
As, for some reason, the usual way is that when we decide to leave, the numbers go up. Always the way.
Nah, really? Let's have a look. Actually, it has got up one.
We've got 7,000. The wonderful.
You need to say you're going to leave about 10 minutes in, then it'll be fine.
The wonderful Commander Culture. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
I really do genuinely appreciate both of you getting up at the wee hours of the morning to come on this. So we appreciate that, you guys. Cheers.
Cheers. Anything for Mr. Brown?
No problem.
And last but not least, the old geezer of the channel, Papa the Mega Geek, the lemonade drinker. Cheers, my friend.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
Always.
Congratulations on 100.
Yeah, it would. You've been on these. It's great you've been on. So all of you. So we do. It's great. So I think with the lockdown stuff, I think I've been very blessed that I've met some new friends through the lockdown. So there has been some positives to come from the mess that is going on. So all I can say is here's to the next 100. Don't forget, we're going to be on Tuesday doing Room 101 with Ruin Johnson, and just talking about his new trilogy and stuff. So all I can say is thanks for taking the time for coming on, and cheers, and we will see you soon. Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.